We have with us today Elizabeth Pipko.
I started Lest People Forget in order to give the world an opportunity to work together on the modernization of Holocaust education. Kanye West is a very big deal. He has a lot of young supporters.
I also grew up training for the Olympics as a competitive figure skater my whole life.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are still unaware of our history, still unaware of why they have to commemorate the murder of 6 million Jews.
You're gonna go straight to presidency?
You haven't seen it done before? Is that what you're saying?
Everything she has said in this pod has built a character profile of the type of person who runs for president. You're running for president, I believe it.
I'm in politics now and I run a super PAC and I do all these things, but I wanted to show little girls and boys out there that you can do literally anything you want. I told the New York Post actually my story and it blew up. I don't want to be considered this Republican or conservative, whatever label they want to put on, because I have yet to even be Elizabeth Pipko. On your deathbed, you're going to regret the things that you didn't do, not the things that you did. So if you want something, you should go fight for it, because God put you on this earth for a reason.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Mislaibeled. Very, very special guest here with us today. We're going to get to her in one moment. I'm actually very excited. We only have men. We're like total sexist, but today we're making up for that. We have a fantastic woman on the pod. But before we get to that, a couple of quick things. If you're watching us, please like, subscribe, and comment. I'm hearing from everyone, by the way, guys, that our pod is kicking ass. Our chemistry is there. Everything about us, we're just taking off. Totally know it. I see it in the views, of course. But if you're watching this, please like, subscribe, and comment. Number two, this pod is brought to you by Joseph Bender Suits, otherwise known as Yossi Bender. Again, guys, I always say the same thing. If I'm advertising for someone, it means that I'm dealing with them directly and I'm impressed with what they bring to the table. He was in my office the other week. Let's just say I am a strapping, handsome young man, but I've seen other people as well wearing his stuff. Granted, they may not be as strapping and handsome as me, but his stuff, bottom line, is fantastic. But for real, Shmuley and Zach both know his stuff as well. I was very impressed. He brought a team with him. They do the whole 9 yards. I was very, very impressed by the work they did. I want to actually give him a shout out on his number here because I gave a sellout the first time. Apparently that was a big mistake. I heard about that the next day. But let me just figure out the number that you're actually allowed to call him about. And FYI, he's running a legit place, so he doesn't have... he's not always the one who's there. A lot of times he sends out a team. Obviously, for me, he was the one who showed up personally with a team.
Right.
Of course. Right. But, but seriously, I put together...
He needs 20 people to figure out your broad shoulders, exact measurements. Yeah, I understand.
Seriously speaking, I put together 3 suits or 4 suits that I bought from him. Each one, I'm not even kidding. Right now, he's sending me stuff, pics and everything. It looked fantastic, in the pamphlets he had 12 or 13 of them.
It looks even better because it's on Label's body now.
I'm not saying that. Again, I'm not so haughty, but what I will tell you is that the way it's coming out, it looks ridiculous. So his number is 838-202-8102. Again, 838-202-8102. Joseph Bender or Yosef Bender, also on Instagram, Joseph Bender Official. Go check out his stuff. Guy's stuff is banging. So definitely, like I said.
I can't believe he made you a suit out of extinct birds.
It's the stuff that he...
Endangered birds. Now
birds.
Extinct.
Whatever. Listen. By the way, I spoke to him regarding last pod remember I was saying the specifics of what he can get you, down to the button?
Yeah.
So he actually told me he has Mexicans working on it, not like you were saying you could pick out the level of people in the sweat labor shops in China. Yeah. So I spoke to him, by the way. He cleared that up. Okay. All above age. Everything is kosher, whatever. All right, fine. Zach is getting uncomfortable. All right, fine.
It's not the best throwback to a line right there. But
all right, relax.
Moving on.
Calm down.
Go ahead. Yeah,
all right, fine. Seriously speaking, guys, let's double down and focus in. So we have with us today a very, very special guest, Elizabeth Pipko. Elizabeth Pipko, I'll be honest, the first time I Googled your name, I was just like, holy shit. I was just like, political operative. That word was just like, whoa to me.
Does that come up? I'm scared to Google myself.
No.
Is that what it says? Okay.
When I Googled you, I think it was your Wikipedia page.
Great.
By the way, my first question, before we even get into that, but very quickly, it was basically political operative, author, works for Trump, worked for Trump or whatever, model, how can we forget that part? There was just a lot going on there,
Media personality.
Oh, we're doing this now. Okay.
American author, model, media personality, and political operative.
Zach says jujitsu master.
Should we give out what birthday you are?
Sure.
By the way,
June 26th, 1995.
That's what I'm saying. She's only 27. So
right.
I'm just saying, there's a lot here to obviously take apart. First of all, I'm no disrespect in any way. I feel honored, but your publicist reached out to us, which I was like, whoa. If I'm being totally honest, like, where did you hear about us? Where did you find out about us? How are we on?
You guys came up on my Explore page on Instagram, and I was like, they seem really cool, and I never get to talk about being Jewish because people just don't get it. So I was like, oh, I could talk to them, and then we reached out.
Oh, that's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I like that. That's like what we're supposed to, like, at the end of the day, the crux of the podcast is supposed to be like Jewish people, like feeling comfortable, like about all their types of Judaism, or however you are, whether Reform, conservative, not affiliated, religious, Hasidic, anything.
Right.
And it's like, we're all Jews and we all have a story, and that's it. And like, that's really what the podcast is supposed to be about.
The podcast is a very...
And like the fact that that's what you saw.
Yeah, and then I think
awesome.
after I was already confirmed to come on, one of my friends posted a clip from you guys. And I was
Really?
like, oh, they're going to be excited
Which
that
one?
I'm on here too. Which friend or which clip?
No, which clip? Yeah, just curious.
It was like a month ago.
All right, fine.
Yeah,
Something good.
I'm wondering. I've seen the Dershowitz one is making.
It wasn't
rounds.
Dershowitz. It wasn't that. 'Cause I remember clicking and being excited that he had been on.
The Dershowitz one did very well. There's one clip there that really went somewhere. I don't even remember.
You've made it in the Orthodox world, at least. Tell me if it's true. I don't know. Maybe it's all Jews, but for sure the Orthodox world. You've made it if a piece of content is getting passed around the family WhatsApp chats. Like, you have made it. You're
Yep.
golden.
Yeah.
When someone's
Family
aunt
WhatsApp.
is like, "Oh, look what I found on YouTube's," like, "Oh,
Did
great."
you know that they interviewed this human being?
By the way, we always talk about this and I'm wondering about this because you're kind of in both worlds. We always joke around about how WhatsApp only exists in the Jewish world. For sure, in the Orthodox world, it's like literally the thing.
Yeah.
In the non-Jewish world, let's just talk Trump campaign or whatever, the political world. Is WhatsApp a thing?
No, it's like Telegram and Signal mostly.
That's what they use there, you're saying?
What is Telegram?
You got to catch up, honestly. It's
I know
like,
what
it's like
Signal
Signal.
is.
It's the same thing. I think
Got it.
Telegram's
Never
better
bought
for
drugs
whatever
before.
reason. Hey, I never bought drugs.
I know, I'm just saying Telegram is what.
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
True, by the way, when I was in Israel one
dealer.
time, that's how I
Everything intense happens on
I
Telegram.
have never bought drugs.
No.
Wait, out. Yeah, no.
really
the few
haven't.
times I bought drugs was through
Telegram.
Telegram.
There
Yeah,
you
or
go.
Signal. Yeah.
It's true. When I was in Israel, I had to send a picture of myself. It was the whole thing through Telegram. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to get to the crux of this. So we're exactly your first generation American.
Correct.
When did your parents lived in the former Soviet Union? When did they move to America?
My mom came in 1974. My dad came in 1980, I think.
Wow, what was that like? 6-year differential between one coming and the other one coming.
I mean, my mom was 10. My dad was like 21.
Oh, they got married here.
got
I
married
wasn't sure.
here.
I didn't know.
I was like doing the math in my head. I was like, wait, no, they came separately.
I'm gonna get roasted for
They
that.
got
By the way.
married here.
Unbelievably
I didn't know. I had no
roasted.
idea. I'm just like, one second, hold on. So that's wow, that's amazing. And they both came individually. What do they like say? I'm curious what they say about what their childhoods. Well, your father probably has more of an experience of a childhood growing up in the Soviet Union. What is he like talking about the Soviet Union? What does he say about it?
It's interesting because they were very privileged in the Soviet Union, both of them. Like, my dad's parents were like two of the most famous attorneys in the Soviet Union. Like, when he tried to escape, his father, my grandfather, was not allowed to go with him because they didn't want to lose like their top attorney. So he actually lived a very good life, apart from the communism, obviously, but like truly like benefited. And when he left, people judged him. They couldn't understand why he was leaving because his life was so good there. My mom, technically the same thing. My grandfather on her side was one of the most famous artists of our generation. Very big deal. Also, they didn't want to let him leave because he was such a big deal there. So I'd say they lived probably as good of a life as you could in the former Soviet Union. But my mom definitely witnessed a lot more like anti-Semitism she mentioned and things like that, where she knew even as a young girl, like, we can't grow up here.
Wow. So why ultimately did they decide to live if they were having such a good life? Like, what really put like?
On my mom's side, my grandpa was like, I'm not allowed. Based on what I was told from him, it was very simple. Like, I'm not allowed to paint Jewish works. Like, it's that simple. He would paint like in the basement, in the dark, anything to do with the Holocaust. I mean, whatever meant something to him. He was very Jewish. Like, Judaism was everything to him. So I think knowing that he couldn't do that, knowing that he would go to shul with his father, leaving the women at home because people would often get beaten, like on the way to synagogue. Like, for him, all he wanted was future grandchildren to be allowed to be Jewish. So that was his reason to come out. My dad's side was less religious. I think like generations back were actually super Hasidic, but my dad and his parents were less religious, but I think it was simply about freedom. My grandmother is like one of the proudest Americans you'll ever meet in the world, and she was just like, I can't be here. She was against, I mean, obviously communism and everything there, and she wanted to get out. And she and my dad risked literally everything and left, and my dad never saw his father again. unfortunately, like died a very tragic death at the hands of, I guess you could say, the government there. So they literally
Wow.
risked everything to get out.
Even though he was a top attorney there.
Yeah, he tried to get out to meet his son. So my dad apparently years later got a hold of his family's KGB file after he went to bury his father, like for the funeral. He got a hold of the file where he found for the first time all the times that his father tried to leave so he could see him, and every time how they rejected it, and how he eventually died of his third heart attack after they rejected him getting out to see his son. Yeah.
It's really crazy how, like, it's underrated. Jews have, like, every time I hear these type of stories, we've been persecuted, like, over and over. Like,
Over and over, yeah.
it's really wild.
Yeah. People really seem to not like us.
Right? What are we doing wrong?
Weird.
Probably too successful, honestly, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really crazy. So your childhood, right? You grew up here. Where were you raised?
Manhattan.
You were raised in the city. Your parents live in the city?
Yeah.
You grew up in the city. Where specifically?
Midtown Manhattan.
You grew up in Midtown.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. No, can you imagine? I mean, I'm trying to. I grew up in Queens, and I'm
Yeah.
trying to imagine
I
what
think
it
Cleveland, Ohio is quite like Midtown.
Yeah.
Very similar.
I've never
vibe.
been.
Everyone's right on top of each other. Everyone knows
A lot of big
everyone's
buildings
things.
in Beachwood, Ohio.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Park East Day School. It's like a Jewish Orthodox preschool, middle school, through 8th grade. And then I moved to Florida, and I was homeschooled because I started training for the Olympics, which did not happen.
Right.
That's a whole other story.
One second. What were you training for? Let's
Move
just
back
go into
here.
that.
You were
When
going to
I
the
was-
Olympics?
When I was, I'm going to try to make it short. When I was
Make it long.
10 or 11,
Nah, I have to wait. It's.
I'll just say it, and that's what she said. When I was...
Jesus Christ.
when
I knew you were going there. Yeah. The second I said it,
She told me to press.
I was like waiting for
I know, but I have a whole 2 hours
It's
right now.
true.
So like,
gotta be strategic.
I have to be strategic. It's like using a coach's challenge.
I was literally going to say that. Do you follow sports at all?
a little.
So you get like one challenge a game, and
Yeah.
me and Shmuley always, when we're watching sports, and a coach calls a challenge in the first quarter of a game or the first half, or like you're such a moron.
yeah.
Right,
You're
like,
gonna,
that's a good one, but like,
You're gonna need a challenge.
what happens if there's a great one in an
Right.
hour?
No, like with the last 2 minutes of the game, like you need that saved up. Anyways, yeah, go on. No, so you tell us. You were
Sorry, yeah. When I was 10 or 11, we were in Florida. I want to say it was like Passover break or something. We were there for a week. I decided I wanted to go ice skating for no reason at all. Just like little girl wants to go skating. My mom said no because we had plans. My parents had some giant fight, so to piss off my mom, my dad was like, "We're going ice skating."
Classic
That's
Jewish Colombo.
Literally
trip.
what happened. Went to the skating rink. It was way too late to skate. They like didn't have any ice left. But there was this like Russian coach on the ice who my dad recognized because I think she was famous like back in the Soviet Union. And he basically told me, if you ever want to be a figure skater, you have to study with her. And I was like, I have no interest in being a figure skater, but thanks. 2 months later, we come back to Florida, go back to that rink, and I have like a 30-minute lesson with this coach. I'd probably skated like in Central Park 5 times at this point. Like I'm not doing anything professional. Fell in love with figure skating, told my mom I wanted to go to the Olympics. And my mom, being the best mom in the world, took me out of school, packed up our entire family, moved to Florida, and I skated 10 hours a day every day for 5 years until I destroyed my ankle and was told I would never run. Walk,
When did this
live
start? How
again.
old were you when it started?
I was like 10, 11.
Got it. So like 10 to 15.
I don't know what's cooler, the fact that your mom was like totally game, like let's do
Yeah.
this, or the fact that you at 10, 11 years old were like recognized you love something and had the commitment to be like, yeah, I'll do it 10 hours a day.
Yeah, I was crazy. Like literally.
Okay, yeah.
Like,
She's still crazy.
You,
You
yeah,
can
that,
see it.
Still-
no, that is
yeah.
crazy. You were saying before you don't have chill. Like that is not chill.
Yeah.
Most 10-year-olds do not have that.
I mean,
sort of-
I was already psycho. Like I was like captain of the mat team, and like I was taking like algebra 2 in kindergarten because my dad said you have to
in
be like.
kindergarten.
I was raised by some really psycho Russian
Right, I was gonna
parents.
say,
Immigrant
This
Russian
is some immigrant
parents.
shit right here. Yeah,
It's a lot, but
This is some like
my mom, my mom was
Rain Man.
a concert pianist. So like when they left the Soviet Union, they took her piano with them. She like sold out Carnegie Hall at like 15.
How the hell do you ship the piano from the USSR to?
Yeah,
I
when
ask
they
you-
were only allowed to get out with $90 each and nothing else, they grabbed their piano. So like I have to live up to a lot.
Can I ask you a question? Do you have any?
Jesus.
Yes, a lot. Do you have any siblings?
I have a younger brother.
Younger
yes.
brother. Did he make it out of this childhood alive?
He is a little more chill than me, but like 20 times smarter.
A little more chill than you is still like.
20 times smarter. You did algebra 2 in kindergarten.
He's like he skipped like 5
he a genius?
grades.
He's like Mensa.
He started college at like 10. Yeah, he's actually a genius.
He's
It's
like-
a whole thing.
He's
Yeah.
Mensa level.
I mean, I'm trying to get into Mensa. I'm testing in the summer. Just because I've always wanted to. He tells me I'm an imbecile and he would never do that. He's like, why do you need to take a
He
test?
looks down on it.
He like doesn't care about anything.
yeah,
But
real
he's
genius.
He's like the next
truly
Elon
a
Musk.
genius. Yeah, actually, I could say that.
Is he an engineer?
He's a computer science.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a fintech guy, like just creating like technology around finance and like.
Not fine. He hates
I'm
finance.
joking. I'm
dudes.
saying he's just doing
Yeah,
like.
but he's doing weird stuff. He's always building something.
There are certain industries which I hear about. Like I'm your classic like real estate Jew. There are certain industries I hear about that I'm literally like.
What is that?
Correct. I have no.
Yeah, what is fintech?
I'm
That's
intimidated.
me.
I'm intimidated by just hearing about what it is because
Right.
I have so little
Yeah.
knowledge or belief in myself to be able to hold in those particular industries. I'm like, I just give up
Yeah.
before even like.
That's me.
A lot of Jews in finance. A lot of Orthodox Jews in finance. None in fintech. I've never met a guy in fintech.
I'm
from our
missing
community.
finance. Yes, every Jew in the world is in finance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
in one way or another.
Or debt, which is also in finance.
It's the dark side of finance.
That's great. Hold on a second. By the way, it totally makes sense. I'm just thinking about this because your parents like risked everything. Your father never saw his father again to come to America. You can imagine what they want for their children
See the
when they
pressure?
show up.
Yeah.
I see it. It's almost as similar as your father being the principal of Manal and his great grandfather being this huge rabbi. It's very similar. Me and
Very
you were.
similar,
We
yeah.
grew up similar.
Do you feel like you had pressure growing up, or do you feel like you were ambitious and they just they appreciate that about you, or there was push?
When I was younger, till it was pushed. Now that I've become crazy, I think they feel bad for the push. They're like, where does this come from? Why don't you sleep at night? But when I was younger, it was really bad. Like my dad, I think is the first Estonian to go to 2 Ivy League schools. Like he came to America and got into Columbia, like being in the country for a month. Then got into Yale Law School on scholarship. Got into Stanford, but couldn't go because he couldn't afford the flight. My mom is selling out Carnegie Hall at like 15. Like it's hard to just be like an average child because they would
Yeah.
hate me and have every right to hate me.
It would hate me.
Arguable,
You
but
know,
that's
they're like
They would have every right. I know that's slow.
Yeah.
no,
It's a
I
little
mean
tense.
they've like truly they've given everything to me. Like I
I
can't.
mean, the fact that they moved
you
to
know?
Florida for this ice skating dream. What was the scene at 15 when you find out like literally what you thought your whole life was going
Yeah.
to be is no longer what your life is going to be? Like, take us into that mindset and then what you do next.
So I was training at the rink. We do off ice. It's like jumps on the floor. I do double axel on the floor. There's like a puddle, I guess.
On the ice rink?
And it's like, you know, like when you get off the ice, like your blades have like water on like the
Yeah.
ice melt. So there's like little puddles. I wasn't paying attention. So I did like a double jump on the floor. I landed on the side of my foot because like it slipped in the water. So I tore 3 ligaments, 2 tendons, my Achilles snapped in half, and like I broke every bone. So like 15-year-old me is like on the way to the emergency room being like, it's gonna be fine. Like I'm gonna skate in a month, it's fine.
Right.
At this point, mind you, I'd had like a skate to the head, broke my tailbone twice, broke my foot twice, and cracked my femur in half.
This was when before this.
Before this. So
be
I was
clear,
like, I'll be fine.
Ice skating.
Are you
is the
sure you
only-
weren't still in the Soviet Union?
All my coaches have been former Soviet Union.
You should actually
So-
know something. I know someone very well. They're big snowboarder, and she always tells me how she loves snowboarding, obsessed with snowboarding.
Yeah.
Every time she comes back, she has another broken limb, and I'm like, "Are you ever going to give this up?" And she just keeps on going to physical therapy. I'm like, "You're out of your freaking mind." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're psychos.
You're psychos. I
It's
got
psycho.
it. I
Well,
got
what
it.
I really
So,
love-
but every single time, once again, so every single time that you broke a bone or everything was fine. And so this time
Yeah.
you're like, okay, everything's
On
gonna be
the
fine
broken
again.
femur, I actually competed and got third at like this gigantic national competition at 12. My mom was like, you take 6 Advils and you suck it up. So you can understand the pressure. But yeah, I tore my ankle and I thought I was going to be fine. And then all the doctors were like, she's never going to run again, let alone skate. Like she's never going to wear heels. She's never going to run. Like none of this is ever going to work.
Right. Well, let's go right into the heels part. Where did the modeling come in? Because I assume you wear heels there.
So we went back to New York after that. We were like, that's it, time to pack up our lives. Went back to New York. I sat in my cast for like, I want to say 6 or 7 months. It was a long time in a cast and then a brace and then like 10 years of physical therapy. Like for the first year, I was just like out being homeschooled in my apartment, unable to get up or leave the house. And then at, I want to say 17, my mom was walking our dog in Central Park, who was a tiny teacup, some rare breed Pomeranian that she found on the street in Florida. A photographer was doing a photo shoot and asked to borrow the dog for the shoot and then to repay my mom because my mom did not have a bank account for the dog, which is a real thing apparently. My mom was like, would you do a photo shoot with my daughter? Because she's like a very sad, depressed teenage girl, which I was. And the photographer sent the pictures to Wilhelmina, which is like a really big agency, and they signed me. And
Wow.
After
was
one
it.
photo set, and you were signed.
yeah.
And then is that like, so I think I can speak for all of us.
Yeah.
I don't know much about the model world.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed the work occasionally, but I don't know much
Enjoyed
about
the work.
Sports Illustrated.
Yes.
No, I just don't know how. It's obviously I'm assuming like a lot of things. It's not just you're very beautiful, you're very good at modeling. It's like a networking. It's kind of who you know,
Exactly,
who you
100%.
get in with. So what was like your journey like? Because you.
I mean, that was it, but I think it was just luck. I mean, you could say it was God, but like it was
But how
very
fast
random.
did you go from getting a contract
had a
with
photo
Wilhelmina to
shoot.
like you've been on the cover of? Can we name some of the magazines you've been on the cover of? Like, what do you
I
remember being on?
won't, but you can.
No, Elle,
Why not?
right?
heard Playboy.
I've been on the. I was not on the cover of Playboy.
Oh, you weren't? Okay,
no,
I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Was that a bad thing to be on the cover of?
I mean, I had like an Orthodox rabbi.
Oh, I was
like,
joking. No, I was
grandparents.
totally joking. I don't know. I'm honestly not familiar with this
Okay,
stuff.
no,
Of
I've
course not.
never done Playboy.
Oh no, I was joking. Like, what's the big? I was trying to
mean,
name a big like.
No,
Playboy's big.
modeling
I was
thing.
on Harper's
Harper's,
Bazaar.
yeah.
That
Bazaar,
one's a
okay,
little
fine.
more normal, but
Oh.
no, I mean, I've done things. I think, like you said, it depends on kind of who you know, and luck. And I think I've done more modeling now because more people know who I am, and people like to have people that, have a lot of followers or whatever, more than they actually want a pretty girl.
Oh, I was
Really?
gonna ask. I was.
Yeah.
I was
Is that
gonna
why
say,
all
is that-
the plus like 100-pound, like 500-pound people are getting like doesn't make a difference like what like if you actually look pretty, you just get the front page?
I mean, I think that's...
Don't cancel yourself right now.
I was
Just
gonna say.
give a political
No,
answer.
I think that's because people think that that's the right thing to do right now. Like those girls can still be, pretty and fine plus size models, but you're right. The more followers they have, the better. Like they would go with those girls. But if you want a plus size model or you want a regular model, I don't even know what the word is anymore, you would go with whoever has the most followers regardless because that's what people care about now. Whereas where I started modeling, I don't think social media was as big of a deal. So I was
So they
doing
just
smaller.
look at the
Right, because now
social
it's just
media.
how much they can get exposure.
Right.
So
Because you could Photoshop anyone to look like anything, but you can't make up their Instagrams.
Right.
You know?
I read that you did at least one major photo shoot without any like that was purposely no
yes,
no
no.
touching up whatsoever. And is that something that you care about? Like
I don't care at all.
You don't care at all.
I think then it was cool. Like they asked me if I would be into doing that, and I was like, I'm not that ugly. Like go for it if you think it'll get attention. And people loved it and picked it up. So like I don't care, but I know it means a lot to a lot of people. I just
What are your thoughts on like I guess the movement of that because
Yeah.
it's been gaining traction now for years and like it kind of makes sense like when you're just showing these images of people and they look inhumanly perfect and we've
Yeah.
been doing that for years and like it's honestly it's refreshing and like but like do you have thoughts or you're like yeah whatever it's fine the industry is supposed
Yeah.
to be
I mean, I think the industry should be what it is. It's always been like a weird, sick, twisted industry. My thoughts now come as like an older person seeing like young girls on social media, knowing that they don't realize that every single thing they look at is photoshopped. I didn't have that when I was 12. I didn't have social media, so I didn't get warped in that way. But nowadays, like I think that part is dangerous. Like,
But
for
you think
young
the industry just get it like you don't want to see it necessarily like grow. You're just like listen, it's gonna be what it's gonna be, and it's sick and not sick, but it's twisted. It's definitely twisted.
I think the more they try to have it grow, like the better it looks on the outside, but the more twisted it is behind the scenes. It's always going to be twisted.
Right.
Can I ask you a personal question? Maybe a difficult question, but I'm going to ask you once we're on the subject. What are your feelings about contributing to that a little bit? Like, fine, you did one shoot that
Yeah.
wasn't like that, but most of your shoots are like that, right? There are a lot of girls, young girls that are very impressionable girls. Mental health is higher than it ever has been,
Yeah.
right? Therapy, all these problems are significantly greater.
mental health issues are higher.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. Whatever. Okay. The issues are much more significant than they've ever been. And let's be real, models looking perfect
Yeah.
is a very large cause of that. I think most would agree. How do you manage that? And what are your feelings about being involved in the industry, given that that's the situation?
That is a tough question. I don't know. I never really thought, like, I always thought about it very personally because when I was younger, I was bullied a lot for being like repulsive looking, like truly just like ugly and like came home crying every single day for like years, ate lunch in the bathroom, like this, regular bullying type stories. So for me, when I got discovered and I was allowed to model, it was more like God giving me a gift that 12-year-old Liz would have really wanted. So I started by doing it for myself. I think in general, I can't answer for like the internet and the entire world. And I wish that the stuff that I was doing wasn't available to like any 10-year-old with an iPhone. At the same time, that's kind of what it is. And I'm not going to like stop my career because of that. But
Right.
there's definitely like a sense of responsibility. I'll definitely not post certain things. Like even if I do a campaign, if I think it's like a little too photoshopped or too revealing or whatever it is, like I won't even post it. But
kind of doing it until I'm too
They don't
fat and
own
too
you on
old and
that.
ugly.
Like they don't stipulate
Just
that
gonna
into
do
the
it till I'm
contracts.
too bad, too old, and too
What?
ugly.
They don't stipulate that into the contracts. Like, hey, if you shoot with us, you get this cover. Like, you have to post it to your Instagram. You-
Sometimes, not often.
So you maintain like freedom of some autonomy and like
You don't get
your own public image.
any freedom over which photos they choose. Like if I shoot one day for
Right.
6 hours, there's 2,000 pictures, and they can choose anyone for a cover.
So you could email them and be like, I hate this. Please don't.
They'll probably use it
and-
just to piss me off if I said
Nah,
that.
that's nice.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I don't even know when things are coming out. Like I have to Google to see when my own like stuff
They'll
is
control
out.
everything.
Yeah,
I still have more questions on the model thing because it's really a world I don't know anything about. Like what. I'm assuming that it looks like, oh my God, that's an easy job. That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is not as easy and as fun as people think it is. It's probably grueling, super long shoots. Is it ever actually, though, kind of fun? Does anyone ever come with like a cool idea for a shoot and it's like a good time?
I don't want to be that girl who's like, oh my God, I've suffered so much being on magazine covers. It's so hard. No, I think the hardest part is the behind the scenes. Like, I think it's getting better now. But when I was first signed, like my now best friend, we got signed around the same time. We were both the youngest, two of the youngest in our agency. We would actually throw up before going in to meet our bookers or our agents because they made us so nervous. Like they were horrible to us. My friend once came back from vacation and she had a bit of a tan and our booker threw a soap, like a bar of soap at her and said, go scrub it off before I look at you. Like if I cut my hair, they would yell at me. They would measure us all the time to see if
That's
I
what
gained
I'm
or
saying.
lost an inch.
That's what I was saying, like,
which is
what's
hard when
the-
you're 17 because I'm grown, you know.
What's that like? Like
Yeah.
the body, like just image thing. Like how did you deal with that over the years?
I think like I had two parents in my life who were like super supportive and super chill, and so I always had them. Most girls kind of get discovered in the middle of like God knows where and like plucked from their village and taken to like LA or New York, and their agents become like their parents. And I think those girls are in a lot of shit. Like I was fine because I remember coming home and telling my dad that my agent said, if you're hungry, like you should have some tissue paper because it has no calories in it. And like my dad, like he just thought it was hilarious. He was like, obviously my daughter's not going to eat tissue paper. But there were girls that were eating
You had two
tissue
healthy
paper.
parents that could kind of tell your agent, go fuck
Yeah.
yourself when they needed to.
Right. And I also had figure skating like in my background at that point. My coaches had told me for years to stay skinny, not eat. I had coaches that gave me like growth stunting pills because like God forbid you're tall. Like I'd already discovered all this.
Jeez.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Yeah, I don't even know
Things
where
that people will do in these industries and
It's
things
a
of that
lot.
nature
Well,
in
that's
order
a
to.
sport. The thing with the growth sign thing, that's
Right.
not about aesthetics, right? That's because it makes you more aerodynamic or just
figure skating in
Right.
general, they want you to be as light and as
imagine
short
baseball's
as
not
possible.
that intense.
you actually took them or you didn't even listen to them?
Oh no, I took them.
So, but you're still 5'7". That didn't
Yeah.
work. You would have been 6'3".
Apparently, my parents are tiny, so I
It
don't
worked out
know.
for the figure for
But
the
when
modeling career.
When I started modeling, I would sleep on the floor because I read that if you sleep like on like solid wood, like you might grow. So I think that's what helped. But yeah, maybe I would have been tall.
that a
I don't
thing?
know.
That sounds like science.
They say like once you're going through puberty, if you sleep on like a hard surface, it'll stretch your spine out more. I was probably lied to, but I slept on the floor for a year thinking that.
Get the fuck out of here.
I swear to God.
I have to look this up, and if it's not true, that's unbelievable that you wasted a year off a mattress.
Did I waste a year or did I make myself tougher?
sure.
True.
Whatever gets you to sleep at night.
So, wait,
on the floor.
like throughout your modeling career, like
On the floor.
I'm assuming like a big shoot's coming up. Like, are you cognizant like the day before, like I'm not eating, I'm not doing this, or like are you? Or,
Yeah,
or-
the
or-
day before. The
Got
week
it.
before, no. Like, I'm really, really, really into food. Like, I have a culinary certification. I'm starting culinary school.
What don't you
Yeah, I was
have?
2 weeks.
literally about to say, is there anything you don't do?
Can you pick a goddamn lane? No.
I can't drive. That I can't
I
do.
was literally gonna
can't
say,
drive.
are you
Can't
Danica
drive.
Patrick also? You can't.
I can't drive.
Really?
Like, yeah, I can't.
Yeah,
What
but
is
I
that?
bet the second
Time
you
out.
do learn to drive, you're gonna be Danica Patrick.
I don't think. It's like really bad.
Time out. What does this mean? You don't have a license?
No.
Why not?
For society's sake. Like, I
What does that mean?
I will kill everyone. Like, I actually can't
You live in
drive.
Florida. That's a
Have you ever
driving city.
tried?
Yes, I have broken quite a few bicycles, other vehicles.
I promise you, if you drive with me, you will know how to drive. I will. I've taught a
or
lot of.
you will never forgive me for what I did. in the
No,
car.
my little
Wait,
siblings.
did you ever have a
driven
permit?
in my car?
I had a permit in New York because it's like a 10-question
Yes.
test. And I
Okay.
remember flirting with the guy after getting it wrong like 8 times until I finally got all 10
Nice.
correct. But then,
Time out. You went to Harvard. You could pass that easy. That's not the problem.
no, it's bad.
You just didn't study for it at all and just freaking
Yeah,
guessed
well,
away.
I don't believe in studying. So.
Oh, okay, there you go.
No, but the permit test is fine. But like once I get behind the wheel, and I promised 2 years ago, I promised my mom, we went to Florida. I was like, I'm going to learn to drive. And then she and I were in like an actual like horrific accident. Like I thought she was gonna like die, like horrible. So after that, I was like, yeah, Hashem doesn't want me to drive. I'm good.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're done driving. Driving never happening.
I don't think, not in this
Okay, listen,
lifetime.
God willing, it sounds like you're successful enough that you have a driver, so who really cares?
A brother and a husband.
A
Yeah.
brother and a husband. Well, hopefully you'll be even more successful. You have your own
Exactly.
personal driver
Yes.
driving you around, whatever. That's when you get to the next level.
Yeah.
It's okay, fine. So it's for the women that are, and the girls really, let's talk girls, not women. Women, I feel like, I'm sure they struggle with this too. But for the girls and women that are struggling with the body image aspect, which is obviously, it's a huge thing these days because it makes so much sense. There's such unattainable goals and levels these days. It's
Photoshopping and all this
you
stuff.
can't fucking function. I'd be honest, I don't know if I was a woman how I would function.
I think men deal with it too.
Maybe.
Look at any men's health. It's obvious.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's
to a
not
lesser degree, but it's
much less.
But our
degree,
beauty
yes.
is not as focused on as a woman's
which is
beauty.
why I said
so-
it's to a lesser degree. But there is definitely standards that are unfair for
Yes,
both genders.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fine. But
Right now,
question
more
to
for
her,
women, yes.
Given that she's a woman, so I would ask her directly. What would you say is? Give me some tips. Give the people some advice. I'm sure you have struggled yourself. Given you're a model, you're trying to get
Yeah.
to the best peak, physique that you could get to. What is your advice to people that are struggling with their body image, and how they could, maybe make some peace in their mind?
I'd say first of all, stay off the internet because you're always going to see someone prettier than you. Like it's impossible to not scroll through Instagram and see someone who you think is skinnier or has better hair or taller. Like that's always going to exist. More so, like they're probably not even real people to begin with. That's not what they look like. But there's a reason they're on there, and it's to show you how great their life is. So they're obviously photoshopping everything they're showing you. So I'd say stay off the internet. I'd say decide what healthy means to you and work on it because there's a lot you can do with apps, but unless you plan on dating solely online or meeting friends solely online, like you can't, that's never going to translate to the real world. So I'd say focus on what you want to look like because the Photoshop people end up looking bad when people meet them in real world, and social media is not life. Go to the gym.
We've all been there.
Yeah, go to the gym, eat healthy, and decide what makes you feel good.
I hear that. That's fair advice for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's not much you can do apart from like actually turning off that part of your brain, and that means turning off the apps or not spending time with people that bring up those like inappropriate and inconsiderate things. I think people that focus on that are really unhealthy people.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. I mean,
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
there's a
good point.
huge. I mean, social media. I say this all the time. I think it's the death.
The worst thing to happen to our kind
The
of society.
worst thing.
Guys,
in the
please
world.
link and subscribe. Please, please, please.
Come on, link and subscribe.
Listen, I'll be
Build
honest.
us up. We want our follower count.
Comment. Please watch all of our
clout.
clips.
Our whole self-esteem is based on our followers. Please help us out over here.
We're actually making a T-shirt that says "Like a burger, eat a burger."
Hey, what do you look at that? We're also in an industry where we don't love the effects that it has on people's mental health, but we also do want to be good at
You're
it.
as guilty as
There's-
me.
Yes.
We're as guilty
Yeah.
as you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know what? We're all suffering under capitalism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well
I
said.
guess. I'm a big fan of capitalism, so I wouldn't say I'm
That's
suffering.
because you won it.
Well, everyone has the ability to win it. Thank God.
Can we talk about like your most recent venture
What's my
with
resolution?
or one of your more recent
Oh, for
ventures?
sure.
Right.
So you started a website.
Oh, less people forget.
Less people forget.
I was like, what are we talking about? Yes.
Well, how many websites have you started that you didn't know which one I was talking
don't
about?
know. It was before you said website.
You're
You
not
said recent
understanding.
venture.
She has 22 ventures going on. So when you said you
Right.
started
Right.
recent
She's got
venture,
a lot, right?
Exactly.
So I do want to ask you about. So I've been on the website, and
Yeah.
and like for people watching, it's called Lest People Forget. And
Mm-hmm.
you started this. Correct me if I'm wrong. You started this like right after the whole Kanye incident, or around that time.
It was Holocaust Remembrance. It was like end of January, but we started building in the fall when Kanye.
Okay. And you have a team, like there's a we, so there's like this is a
Like
company.
4 or 5 people. Yeah.
4 or 5 people. Amazing. And tell us in your own words what this is about, because it's not just another website about the Holocaust. It's
Right.
It's a little more unique of a concept.
Yeah, so people started coming to me in Florida, people that I knew who knew that like I had worked in the Jewish community, asking me what we can do when it came to Holocaust education, because there's obviously severe issues going on. I've always kind of known that there was something there that I could do, but I never really got into it until the Kanye stuff like freaked the crap out of me. When like multiple girls who were like 16, 17, 18, one of which was Jewish, asked me what the Holocaust was. Like I truly lost it. Like it didn't make
Where
any
did they
sense
ask
to
you
me.
this?
where was this?
Where were you
At
meeting?
the gym. So I know these girls, and Kanye was playing, and I don't know, I probably mentioned something, and they asked me what's going on with Kanye, like in the news these days.
They didn't understand it because
They didn't know what the
the
Holocaust was. One girl being Jewish.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have questions on that. That's
I-
crazy.
I-
Florida
I thought they
education.
teach it in schools.
I don't
feel
think
like-
they teach in a lot of schools. I don't know.
I feel like it's a little out of the ordinary. I don't think it's a mainstream thing. Most people probably know about it, but
The stats show that a lot of people don't know.
Can I say one thing? It's not just about the stats. It's about the further away we get
Yes,
from the
yeah, yeah,
Holocaust,
yeah,
the
yeah.
more it's going to happen.
Yes,
I
yes,
would say
yes,
40
yes.
years ago, everyone knew.
Right.
Now it's becoming less and less and less.
yes.
That's just how
Yeah,
life
but
works.
even those that know, like I'll be like, do you know how many people died in the Holocaust? And they'll be like, yeah, 2,000.
Jesus.
Like they're not really on the same page.
Do you know, I'm curious, do you know the A.B. Rottenberg song? This is like Jewish Orthodox culture.
No.
You know like what will become in the memories? The song Memories? Or totally
Yeah.
not?
Yeah.
No, do you know that song?
I think so.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's possible if you don't. It's like a very like
Yeah.
Orthodox like yeshiva concept song, but I think you would appreciate it. That's the only reason why I
Yeah,
bring it up.
no, I think that's why I know. But
Oh.
I didn't grow up obviously Orthodox.
Right.
So I feel like every time that something comes into my like my orbit from like that world or whatever, it stays forever because I was never in.
It happens to be it's a beautiful song about the Holocaust. It's not like I listen to a ridiculous amount of music. I don't know of a lot of songs about. Did Leonard Cohen have songs about the Holocaust? Like who's writing songs about the Holocaust?
Shweki.
Hopefully not
Shweki
Kanye.
Not
and his
even
massive
Shweki.
range.
It's literally A.B. That's all we got.
Hopefully Kanye doesn't write any songs.
If Kanye tries to put out a theme album,
We actually had a whole conversation here the other day. I probably shouldn't say this. I feel like you're going to be mad about this.
Kanye's gonna put out a song called Holocaust List instead of Heartless.
We had a whole. Welcome to Mislaibeled. You're gonna hear it all. No, whatever. We had a whole conversation whether or not you would still listen to a Kanye song, but whatever. We're not even gonna go
No,
into
what
that.
is the answer? People have asked me this.
Us? We all answered in the affirmative.
yeah, it's affirmative.
Yeah.
Because first of all, especially stuff before he was anti-Semitic, and like at the end of the day, like you got something. I don't know.
You know that
If you're gonna
that-
stop listening to Kanye, you gotta stop listening to Michael Jackson, and I would not ask anyone to stop listening
R.
to Michael
Kelly.
Jackson.
R.
R.
Kelly.
Kelly's not that good.
I listen to him all.
Yeah,
all
like
my
are you
whole
gonna stop
flight.
listening to Remix to Ignition right now? Like really?
Bro, he's got one song.
Remix to Ignition is amazing.
He has lots of songs.
He has lots of songs.
Yeah.
But
No, I believe in a healthy separation.
Here's my question
Yeah,
though to
no,
you.
I agree.
Here's my question. You are clearly extremely passionate about this particular project.
let's get back to
Oh
project.
yeah, we
Hold
don't
on.
know about the project yet.
So I'm
But
going.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so could you just before I get to my question,
Yeah.
can you tell everyone the specifics of the project?
Right.
What
So
it is?
basically, the goal was to get young people involved in Holocaust education. I think in general, the younger generation is really bored with everything going on. That's why social media is such a big deal now because people have very short attention spans. They like photos. They don't like to read. They don't like to learn. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So my idea was a platform or website where we just have images that kind of tell the story of the Holocaust in like a 5-minute search. Because most people I talk to were like, yeah, we watched the Holocaust movie in 5th grade and we never learned about it again.
Right.
Which I don't really think is going to teach you anything. So what's on there right now is just a few. There's like stamps, there's letters, but I mean, they're not even in English. So obviously like 15-year-old wouldn't understand. You can obviously see that it was from the camps, which is horrific enough. The platform's going to be updated in the summer with like over 100 personal stories from survivors or families of those who were affected. But the goal was to utilize decentralized technologies. This is the part that I had to actually study for 3 months. Luckily, my genius brother could explain it to me. But the goal is to have a platform where people can actually interact from around the world. So whether you have a photo or a story to submit or you just want to preserve the materials, you go on, there's step-by-step how you can get involved and basically use your computer to preserve those materials. So if, God forbid, the Holocaust Museum one day no longer existed, if someone else like Kanye wanted to come out and ban whatever it was, these materials would be preserved forever, thanks to less people forget. And I think young people understand that kind of technology more than older people. So when I was coming up with it, like in my mind, I was thinking maybe like a grandmother somewhere reads the story of what I put together, calls her grandson over, and he comes to her house. They go on lesspeopleforget.com together. He explains to her decentralized technology what they're doing together in like a 5-minute, 5-step process. They preserve materials from the Holocaust that will be around forever, thanks to like what they did in those 10 minutes. So that was the goal, and I'm hoping to meet with different people dealing with actual curriculum in Florida next year. I have a few meetings set up, and I'm hoping that one day like it'll be an assignment in 6th grade to like go on the website and pick one photo that means something to you, write about why, and participate in really the 5-minute process of preserving those materials.
I love that. It's really, really nice.
Thank you.
That's dope.
Really beautiful.
It's also such a smart idea
I
to
like
to
that.
do it in a way that specifically young people. It's not just another museum.
Exactly.
Yeah. Museums, I mean, let's be real. Not that I've been to the Holocaust Museum, but I ain't going there again, probably just realistically, till I have till I have children. God,
And you
Hashem.
go to Yad Vashem and stuff like that.
Yeah, or if I'm in Israel, whatever. But like, it's very true. People have such short attention spans that you need something that really caters the same way everything these days is built around that. You're jumping on that particular concept, which, as you should, about teaching about the Holocaust in a very short very short span of, to not make it too difficult, but keep the memories totally alive. Yeah. So here's my question to you, though. You're clearly extremely passionate about this particular subject. Mm-hmm. We all grew up Jewish. Yeah. Most people are not as passionate about this. Why are you as passionate about this as you are?
I think I'm a psychopath, as you guys have pointed out. So if I care about anything, I care times 5 trillion. So there's that. B, probably my grandfather. I was raised kind of by different grandparents because my parents were so busy. And every conversation with my grandfather came back to this is why you're here, and we are Jewish, and this is what our people have gone through. That was no matter if it was Shabbat dinner, if we were just having a fun time, if I was playing in the park with him, he was you need to understand what our people went through so that you could do this right now. So I think it's kind of for him. It's an honor of him. He also, one of his collections, I believe it was about the Holocaust, was definitely a Jewish collection of etchings. I believe it was actually on display in Yad Vashem, but it was called Lest People Forget, and that's why I called this Lest People Forget.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, in memory of my grandfather.
Is he still alive?
He passed 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think he would have been very proud of what you're doing?
I think so, yeah. He was, super, super accomplished, truly one of the greatest artists
I think
of our time. But yeah, anything Jewish, that's truly all that mattered to him.
And through the making of this website, I went on it. There's already some stuff that's been uploaded, and that means that this is not stuff you're uploading.
It goes through me.
It goes through you, but it's coming from all over, from anywhere.
Yes.
Has there been anything that particularly touched you or surprised you that someone sent in?
I'd say I was surprised. Shockingly, I'm still surprised by anti-Semitism. The sheer amount of letters that I just have to delete every day, being the Holocaust never happened. It's hundreds just at a time. I can't even.
You get hundreds of letters?
Emails.
You get hundreds of emails saying the
Holocaust never happened. Yeah, these letters are obviously fake. The Holocaust never happened. So that's a lot of fun. I'm still surprised by that, even though I shouldn't be.
I was gonna say maybe this touches upon what I saw. So I was looking through the details of your book, not the specifics, but I saw the back of your back cover of your book. I looked a little bit at it, and I'll be honest, I didn't look through every single thing. Yeah. But could you just share with people first of all what the back of your cover is of your book?
Yeah, I took.
Firstly, what's the book called for people that don't know?
The book is called Finding My Place, Making My Parents' American Dream Come True. The back cover.
By the way, that's already done. She already made the dream come true.
No, they would tell you definitely. They'd be like, she hasn't accomplished shit. But the back of the book is basically I want to say it's just tweets. It could be other comments, but it's tweets and comments people have written about me, both positive and negative. So it'll say Elizabeth Pipko for president, and one, the next one will be screw you, you Nazi bitch, or some shit like that. I could be misquoting, but things on that level, and it's just a compilation of all those comments.
I love that, by the way. That was so me. Such a great fuck you to every single person.
I thought it was very cool.
It was great.
Yeah. You're gonna have a hate wall of all the.
Do you have that in you? Do you have that mentality that you appreciate when people doubt you, and that is a piece of your personality?
Yeah, I think most people. I could be wrong, but I'm definitely motivated by people saying you can't do something. Or doubting you, so
I don't think
that comes from healthy self-esteem. I think a lot of people.
I thought it was
a lot of people believe it. A lot of people will believe it if someone tells them.
I'll random things about appearance or something. I'll believe for 5 minutes, I'll cry and I'll forget about it. But just someone saying you're never going to make it in this, or you don't deserve this, those ones are motivating.
Yeah.
One thing. So let's go back to the hating. So the hateful comments you just touched on.
Yeah.
I'm sure that comes from everywhere. The modeling, all that's everything, right?
Yeah.
All your projects that you're up to. Does that? Be honest with me for a second. Does that affect you?
Yes.
It does, right?
I'd be lying if I was no, I'm healthy, I'm happy, everyth's fine. No, it's a lot.
It is a lot, right?
And it comes from every angle because everything I'm a part of is very polarized. So if I do anything political, the left is screw you, you're too right wing, and then the right is how could you be such a liberal loser? If I do anything in modeling, it's you're too ugly, you're too fat, you're too Jewish. All the time. It's
you're too Jewish to model.
I've gotten a lot of you're not really Jewish, a lot of, anti-Semitic, you're too Jewish, and a lot of stop pretending you're Jewish. So the Jewish, but I can deal with those because those are obviously ridiculous. But
right.
Other things are more hit home more. So
there's so many.
Talk to me. So I'm not where you are. Don't get me wrong, but I would say in my little nucleus of a world, I'm a little bit polarizing, some people would say.
Yeah.
So I want to understand from you how you deal with that. Just tell me, label wiener. How am I now?
I mean, I don't want to lie. Like I cry. Like,
You cry. Oh.
yeah.
So does he.
I don't have. A,
Believe me, I live in the same house as
Okay,
him. He
good.
cries
I
a
wish-
lot.
That's a bunch of
We put on a little
And I'm
Celine
just letting
Dion.
you know, like I'm going to sleep at night, and like he sleeps. He's like right on top, and I just hear bawling. Like I just hear like tears,
And then you just hear
tears
near,
of agony.
far.
And then you hear like Celine
he's
Dion,
just
and then
sobbing.
like you hear like, "What will become of all the memories?" Literally, this is what I hear daily.
This is a
but the
roast.
struggle is real, you know. The struggle is real. He's doing what he's passionate about.
Shmuley's right. I put my face in my pillow and I just my
So-
tears
so-
just flow out. But I hear you. Okay, so that's okay. Fine. That's your emotional response.
no,
I-
I've gotten better, but no, I'm not gonna lie and say that I'm fine with it. It's hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I hear that.
You're the quint.
Now it's over. You can never.
Now it's over.
Yeah,
Now it's
that
over.
wasn't a good one.
That was more for like shock factor.
Right.
You're like a quintessential
we'll give him a-
like
we'll give
man
him
in
a
the
second
arena. You know, like you're doing a lot of things. You're involved in like 3 different worlds, like Holocaust stuff, modeling, politics.
Yeah.
And it's just open for attacks on all angles. And you're just like, hey,
Yeah.
Let's get into the
I'm
politics for a second.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do the politics just because I love this stuff. First of all, let's just be clear. Shmuley was with me when we first moved. We've been roommates for 8 years now.
Okay.
There are rumors about us, being in a romantic relationship.
Fornicating.
I categorically,
Categorically. He categorically.
I categorically deny it of the highest levels, kind of like Trump denies his affair with Stormy Daniels. It's a very similar level.
that was all
But
terrible.
that's a terrible
Yeah, that's not-
analogy
that's
because
not-
that
confirmed.
did happen. And so I
I love
categorically
watching Label
deny it.
like dig a little hole for himself.
No, I was trying to give an example of how much I categorically deny it.
I categorically deny it like Trump was with Russia in the hoax.
There you go.
That's how I categorically
That's
deny it.
better.
There you go.
That was obvious.
And
that
I've
that
seen
didn't
it, so
happen.
exactly.
All right, whatever. The point is, at the end of the day,
We all want what they have.
Anyways, the point
I
is,
definitely do.
the point is that when I first moved in, when we were roommates at Shmuley, when I became roommates, it was in 2015, September 2015, and Trump went off the rails. It was July when he came down the escalator. It was July of
It
2015.
was June 20th.
June 2015. Okay, whatever. I'm close enough. This is fucking 8 years ago. I didn't work for him. Okay, I'm not as special as you. But the point is, at the end of the day, that I did not follow a thing about politics
Yeah.
other than Obama was just being Obama, like Jesus Christ. Sorry, Zach. But I was just like, whatever.
I don't even know. Fine,
The point is,
I'll be the punch bag.
is that Trump. I got so Trump was entertainment for me, man. It was literally.
we threw a party election night.
You know
we threw
what?
a party.
Two election night parties.
But we didn't know who was going to win. It was just
just
so
a party,
we
yeah.
just knew. Oh, debates. No, I'm sorry, not
debates. I was
election night.
gonna say,
Debate.
yeah.
The 3 debates.
We had
every
drinking-
debate. We had like a barbecue going
The
on.
presidential?
Yeah, the presidential.
Or like when
the
he was-
president, for the primaries we like watched,
Oh,
but the
okay.
presidential debates with Hillary,
Yeah.
we literally had
Yeah.
people over barbecuing, drinking
Yeah.
beers. Like we had like shots. Like how often is he
Yeah.
gonna like?
Although the primaries were
is he
even
gonna say
better.
wrong?
In primary, he was hysterical.
So
That was
hysterical.
I mean,
yeah.
him versus Hillary was of an all-time.
I still hold his best performance is him against Ted Cruz. Not Ted Cruz. I'm sorry, Jeb Bush.
No, I
Him
disagree.
against Jeb Bush.
You're a real tough guy, Jeb.
His absolute
I will tell you his best
like
performance.
annihilation of Jeb Bush was
yes and
on a
no. I'll
different
be
level.
honest. Sorry for interrupting you. I'll be honest. I disagree with you. What won him the presidency, in my personal
No,
opinion.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking.
Let me just say the best debate, and this is what I'm saying: that won him the presidency was the second debate against Hillary, right after the grab her by the schlonkers thing came out.
What?
Whatever. I made up a
What did
word.
I say?
The schlonkers?
I made up a
Continue.
I made up a word.
I understand.
For our audience
the
to
word
figure out-
sounds more like something
Yes.
else. Grab her by the schlonkers.
Yeah, he's not gonna like that.
and I don't think Trump's gonna like that.
No,
told
he really
people
wouldn't like that.
I'll be
one.
honest. I heard that Hillary this morning decided she's a man. This is what I heard, so it became schlonkers. Sorry, bud. Anyways, the point is
Yeah.
point. I think that's honest. I think that debate was as great as
The
debate.
because
but
you'd
I'm
be
not
in jail
talking about
debate.
the-
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. That was
People like that one, yeah.
I'm not
like
talking
the
about
one
the
you-
actual debate. I'm talking about just the
Entertainment
the
value.
entertainment value of
Yeah.
him against Jeb Bush was one of the
Yeah.
funniest things you'll ever
Bush,
see.
Rand
you
Paul,
see,
all-
you see
yeah.
Jeb Bush on the stage with
It
them
was
getting
brutal.
3% of a vote, arguing with Trump, who has like 41% at the time, like arguing with him about like how his policies are wrong. You'll never win the presidency. He just looks at Jeb Bush and like wonders why he's even on the stage.
Anyways, the point is, at the end of the day, that was my first time I followed politics. Was
Unbelievable
then.
time.
And
It's an easier time.
Since Biden, no, there was great humor. Honestly, I laughed my way through that. Since Biden became president, I just kind of fell out of it, and I feel like
Kind of like the president.
I feel like we're up to season 5 right now. We're revamping it up. Trump is getting whatever that the cat they brought him back on. Universal's brought him back on for a 5th season to come back, right? Kind of like 24, they broke back, whatever. And no, I'm getting excited, but I want to get into the politics thing. How did you? First of all, let's just get specific here. What part of the campaign did you work for? Like, was this at what point of the campaign were you working for him?
I got hired early to middle of August, so like the last 3 months of 2016.
How's that happen? You're reaching out to them, they're reaching out to you.
They're not reaching out to me.
I didn't think so.
I'm a psychopath, as you know. I had known Donald Trump as the man who built Wallman Rink, the skating rink in Central Park. Like, that is literally all I knew.
Fight with Ed Gotch.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that much. I just knew he built a skating rink, and I had first skated for the first time in my life on a rink that said the word Trump on the side. And I knew that he had a lot of money because my friend had a board game that like had Monopoly Trump or Life the Game Trump, some Trump branded thing. That's all I knew. I am in a very depressed, horrible, sad state. I hate school. I hate life. Obviously, I'm like still dealing with my injury. I can't skate. I see Donald Trump being laughed at like on the world stage, and I see him being a lunatic like myself, being like, I'm still going to be president. Meanwhile, polling at like 1%. So I was like, this guy's pretty cool. I'm watching the debates like you, just kind of entertained. I didn't really have an interest in politics apart from just like being obsessed with America. Like, I'm completely lunatic. Like, you play the national anthem, I'll start crying right now. Like, it's a problem.
Put that to the test.
I'm telling you, it's bad. But that's really it. But I watched debates, and I thought that the guy that was laughed at by the whole world, like literally laughed at by every expert ever, on his way to
You like the underdog story.
Love the underdog story. And I was like, he's about to be he's about to be up to be president. I didn't think he was going to win at that point. I had no idea what was going on, but I went to Trump Tower and saw they had like a volunteer center downstairs where you could like make phone calls for him. Didn't even know that was a thing, but apparently politicians have people, obviously phone banks, people that call, ask for donations, ask for like polling info. I went to volunteer with my little brother at the time. And again, crazy. I was like, volunteering's not for me. So I wrote a letter to the head of the data department, and I was like, this is what's wrong with your entire volunteer operation.
Wow.
Yeah, begged an intern, flirted with an intern, like a little 16-year-old kid, to bring it up to him. He brought the letter to him, and then the next day he called me and was like, do you want to come in?
Donald
But
himself?
you were like
the head
19,
of the
20
data
at the
division.
time.
I was 21.
21.
Yeah, and he offered me a job basically handling all the volunteer centers and like the phone banking operation around the country. And again, being crazy, I was like, my brother is my best friend in the world, and I wouldn't be here if not for him. I will not work for you unless you hire my little brother as well. Mind you, he's 18, I'm 21, neither has a college degree, no experience.
And he just gave you all the things to all the phone banks.
In the country, yeah. And my brother
That's
and I
nuts,
got jobs, and then we made a man president 3 months later.
So why didn't you continue? Did they offer you a job?
Yeah, I didn't want to do it.
Why not?
I had not finished even half of my degree. I really wanted to prove doctors wrong and get back into skating. I didn't want to leave my family and leave New York. I didn't want to work in the White House. I felt like I wasn't qualified, and I was young, and politics was dirty and scary, and I just kind of wanted to like figure my life out and accept the fact that I could just worked on a presidential campaign and made a guy president, because it hadn't clicked at that point.
Yeah, that's probably pretty wild. I should have done that. I could still probably do it. Get on the phones.
What
Put me on
was
the
your,
phones for, bro. If you put me on the phones, Joe Biden's a lock, an absolute lock. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden could be in his basement, bro.
You're gonna get a call tomorrow.
Give me the phone, bro. Joe Biden can lift 421 right now, 480 on the bench. Trust me, take my word to the bank. I don't know why I said 421. It was a bad number because you cannot lift 421. I guess if you put on 2.5 pounds
What
on
you're
your
talking
side.
about right now.
It's called, okay, whatever. You've never been to a gym in your life, so of
Correct.
course you don't know what I'm talking
Correct.
about. 421 is, I was referring to like a bench, but it's a terrible number just because you don't lift.
Because there's no
421.
1 pound.
What I'm getting out of this is that you
things.
want Biden to be president, which is
That's what I
it's
got.
a nice character growth
Yeah.
from you. I didn't
No,
Wow.
no. I was saying the other way around, that he can't win to save his life, other than the fact that the option, so many people hate Donald Trump, that he's just
Yeah.
going to be a natural winner because by
Or
default.
or he'll win if he gets Label Wiener to just decide to run all the phone banks.
Exactly.
That's
Label's pull in this world is unmatched and uncanny.
That's what
and
I was saying,
the things
yeah.
the things that he's able to do is just absolutely wild.
Yeah.
He I'm just telling you, like
We got maniacs here. We got a couple maniacs.
he's.
Well, I wanna get into
he's
the-
he's our fearless leader.
with Trump. So you like the underdog story. You like he's very America first, and you're like you said, like a self-obsessed American nut. You know, were there things about him that you saw as like political red flags, or it was all gravy, and you're down for
I don't
the
think
whole
I
Trump
knew
package?
what a political red flag was. I thought he was really funny. My personality is like do whatever is funny in the moment because I just don't care.
Commit to the bit.
Yeah, like life is so horrible when it's horrible that whenever someone's not ill or something's not bad, you should just have fun. Like nothing else truly matters. So
Fully agree.
yeah, like I'm a normal person. I try to do the right thing, but if I'm gonna have fun doing something stupid, I'm gonna have fun doing something stupid. So not that I thought that was like the dumbest thing in the world, but I actually didn't think it through because I didn't have a degree, I didn't have a future, and I was offered a role on a presidential campaign, and I was gonna take it and work my butt off like I do with everything else. Did not think we were gonna win, so I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen.
I think you and everyone else didn't think they were gonna win.
except Donald Trump.
And me and
I
Label.
can show you
I
the
bet
photo.
money on it.
I can show you the photo in my phone
both
of the
did.
moment Trump found out he had won because I have it.
You were with him?
Yeah, we were all there with him on election night. It
You
was
were
just
in the freaking room. Let's see the picture.
Send me the picture so I
Let's
can
go.
post it on get my editor to send it.
Jesus Christ.
Why? What's the big deal?
Why do you have the Waffle House as your?
Can we talk for a second? Is Ivanka
That's
the coolest?
that's the most America.
Why is
don't
Waffle House
really
your
know.
phone?
Hold on one second. Is Ivanka the coolest or no? Or you don't really know? So?
Scrolling to November. I think she's very cool. I don't know her and Jared super well.
I don't know if she's the
think
coolest.
pretty
She's a lot cooler than the other kids.
She's the most beautiful. I'll definitely say that. I think
Of
everyone
what?
would agree with of anyone ever.
Oh yeah, no, she's all
This is
class.
the
in my
moment
opinion.
Donald Trump won. It is November 8th at 9:36 p.m. on my Snapchat. So I don't think so and so is in the room. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know.
This is a wild picture.
There's a few I can show you. But yeah.
Okay, got it. So, did you know?
I love that look of Trump.
Trump he's holding up the level.
Justin, Joe, how were your interactions with Trump?
No, well, we're gonna get it on the thing. Don't worry
Put it
about
on
it.
the phone.
How were your interactions with him?
I have yet to have a bad interaction. Like I say it all the time. I would love nothing more than to be like, hey, I met the family and they suck. And like, you guys are right. They're the worst people in the world. I would love that. But that's just not the case. Like, I have not had that experience.
Was he always respectful?
Nothing
and
but nice. I've never told the story. The first time I had a conversation with him was Access Hollywood tape night when he came to the 5th floor where I was working to record. I think they told him he was going to record his apology video for the Access Hollywood tape. He came downstairs, and as the only girl on that floor, I see Donald Trump. Like, I'm pretending that I'm working when I'm obviously not. And I see Donald Trump walking towards me, and I stood up, and he asked me for my opinion on the Access Hollywood tape. That was the first conversation I ever had with
You
him.
being serious?
Swear to God. So there's been a lot of craziness. Again, that's why you asked, like, why didn't you want to go to the White House? I just had to absorb the last, 3 months of my life. But I've not had bad interactions with him or members of his family. I'm not super close with Donald Trump.
Not that was
but-
a good. Here's my take on that.
Yeah.
Not that again. That shows to me a tremendous problem with moral character overall. Obviously, the whole recording and everything. But as far as playing that off from a marketing perspective and understanding how the American people will respond to that, specifically the 60% of people or 50% of
the locker room
men,
talk?
yes, was a genius response. Because the average person living in middle Kentucky that's working on their car is going to say 100% right. That's my honest perspective. I think that was a genius call. And that's, by the way, probably his own instinct if I had to bet.
No, I mean, it's true. He was on it. Like, that is how they talk.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
that's-
they're
yeah.
fucking if you catch any guy, in my opinion, for
Yeah.
the most part, listen, hell with it. I'm on camera. I could be canceled any second. If you catch me off camera, you're with me for 20 minutes. Forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm just absolutely done. Shmuley, if you're caught off camera, bro, forget about it. Forget about it.
I don't know what he's talking about. I am.
Zach, if you're going to... I'm joking.
I am a man of
definitely
class
said-
and
I've s-
dignity.
I've definitely said things that could come to haunt me on a political
Yeah.
campaign. I think what bothered people about the Access tape wasn't like Trump's not the first man to say something a little objectifying about
little
women.
objective.
A little, it's pretty quite objectifying. I think it was just that like at the end of the day, this is going to be the guy leading the country, and he doesn't really seem that apologetic about it. And so it's like I don't think it's a bad thing to want more class out of a leader. And I mean, we agree on this
Yeah.
point that it is a slip in moral character.
For sure.
Like the people we grew up looking up to, our rabbis, the people that we saw as leaders, if we found out one of them said something a quarter as bad about women about this, we would stop following that route. We'd be like, I don't know if I
would
can
hope,
accept.
Yeah, but I'm saying this
Right?
this is the classic. Do I care about my president being moral, or do I care about him leading the country? I mean, you're gonna
Right, but would
round
you
and
be
round it up.
upset
Bill
at
Clinton, you'll
people?
hear
Would
this
you
all
be
the-
upset
Yeah.
at people who maybe first of all, Bill Clinton's good ideas. Post Bill Clinton, whether you're into the Democrats or Republican, I think it left Americans with a bad taste where they wanted. At the end of the day, love him or hate him, and I mean, Obama was not a perfect person. And
Definitely love Monica Lewinsky with a bad taste.
most deaths of drone strikes of all time, right? But what did you say?
He said he definitely left Monica Lewinsky. I can't say it.
He said he definitely left Monica Lewinsky with a bad taste.
No, that's good. That's good.
Oh, that.
That's good. I think that Americans were tired of, like, they wanted Obama. He had this like kind of moral. Some people hated it because he was like pandering.
No, he
not
was
pandering.
very
He was very
cool and
he was preachy a little
clean
bit,
and
but he was clean.
young kids and he was good to look at. And I think a lot of people don't want to dig deep into like a president's past. They just want everything to look clean and look presentable, and like they want to feel good about where things are without actually having to.
Yeah, I
look
think
behind
I
the
agree with
curtain.
everything. Sorry to interrupt. I agree with everything actually you just said.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of great points there. I do think though that this wasn't it became a thing about let's harness this against him purely because we don't like him politically and not because of what he said. Meaning people already hated him before that.
Right.
It was just like, oh, let's use this because we think it can get him out of office.
Use it as a pile-on.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think, and it was like, oh, you see, and like this is the only reason why we want not to win.
Yeah,
and that
and it was
nothing to do
like
with it.
3 weeks before election.
Now,
Yeah, exactly.
if I can get
Yeah.
into some of the questions I've been meaning to
Yeah.
ask you, some of the political reasons that people did not like Trump, and some of the things that fed that bias, where people were like, "I'm looking for reasons to get him out of here because we don't like him," was because some of his rhetoric, very famously, had some, you could call it dog whistles, you could call it just reminiscent of some of the classic right-wing stuff that we saw in Germany. It was reminiscent. I'm not calling Hitler a Nazi, but
Yeah.
there's also
No,
the very
Hitler was a Nazi.
Trump and Nazi. You're not going
Did I
Trump.
say?
You said,
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not
not
going
calling
I know,
Hitler
guys,
Nazi.
I
guys,
got
guys.
what you were saying.
I'm not calling Hitler a Nazi either. That's a horrible thing to call
We're not
someone.
canceling you.
Let's
Yes.
not
We're not
get ahead
canceling
of
Hitler.
ourselves.
No. Yeah. So I guess you're someone who cares deeply.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you're literally making a website about the Holocaust. What are your thoughts on the fact that like there are pockets of there's pockets of anti-Semitism on both spectrum, but Trump did seem to have big pockets of like the types of people that do not like Jews, calls gripers on the internet. I'm sure you know of all this shit.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, those people, those are the Trump boys. Those are your Proud Boys, your MAGA hat loving. What is your take on it? It's complex.
It's really difficult. In general, I have faced more anti-Semitism from people on the right than people on the left. Probably because less people on the left know who I am anyway. But there's a lot of anti-Semitism on the right, and it's hard thinking to myself, like, we might support the same policies, and like then wondering why the hell would be on the same side in anything.
Yeah.
So it's very hard. I've had those like very deep conversations with my parents. At the same time, if someone actually believes those things about Jews, they are mentally unstable, among other things. So I cannot sit and alter my beliefs and wonder why a mentally unstable person believes something or doesn't.
You're not going to let it change your politics, let's say.
Right. At the same time, would I be in a room with those people? Absolutely not. Will I always denounce those people? 1,000%, no matter what it means for me politically or, career-wise or anything else. But
Do
it's
you
hard.
think Trump or the Trump administration did enough to kind of clear the ghosts in the closet, so to speak, of the anti-Semitism?
I don't think anyone's done a very good job on both sides of stopping anti-Semitism or standing up against it. I think that's like a weak point in America for some reason.
You don't think there's a single there's no one who's going hard enough?
No.
Why? Hold on.
I think most people in
Why do you
politics are out for themselves.
Yeah.
And so like
And
end
the
of the
Jewish
day,
vote is this. I mean, they
it's so
don't care.
small, and so they're going after what is the swing vote,
Yeah.
and that's like
It's not the Jews.
yeah, it's like the liberals going. I don't think the liberals actually legitimately not liberals. I don't think like the actual people in Congress
Power.
things actually in power actually care about LGBTQ plus, but they know that there's a swing vote in certain
Yeah.
states and certain places that 6%
He's
or
not gonna-
5% is going to be able to get them power.
No politician is ever going to sacrifice his presidential potential over over specifically anti-Semitism.
one's gonna-
They're going to
They're
weigh
not
their.
going to do it over anything. They
No
look
one in
at
Washington
the
is
polling
gonna.
and they make a
Yes,
decision.
everyone
Exactly.
in Washington
They
just
don't-
worry about their career.
Yeah, they
That's
don't
it.
stand
and
for
doing
anything.
everything for their career.
So like even when you want to say like I like this politician because of the way he supports Israel, you still have to know that he supports Israel because he gets donations from people that support Israel. It's not because he actually supports
So here's a
Israel.
great
you
topic.
know?
So do you feel? I always got the feeling, I could be totally off, I could be naive, that Trump At the end of the day, like, okay, yeah, there are the people that say that he hates Jews. I think that's ridiculous and unfounded. I don't even think there's one shred of truth to that. I always got the feeling kind of the contrary, that he does like Jews, and he likes Jews because he likes successful people, and he has done a lot of business in New York with a lot of Jews. His father donated a freaking shul. I mean, there's a lot that goes back, and that he actually likes Jews a lot, and he has nothing but, again, obviously Ivanka married Jared or whatever, but that he has no anti-Semitic bone in his body. Do you think that that's true?
I think that I love being Jewish a hell of a lot more than I will ever love any politician. And if he had an anti-Semitic bone in his body, I would not utter his name. So,
got it.
100%, I don't think that's true.
So you don't think that's true?
Have you ever in your life had to cut someone out because you found out that they did have an anti-Semitic bone in their body? Just someone that you did have a relationship with?
I mean, I have like maybe had 3 friends in my whole life. So not like a friend.
Why don't you have friends?
You want to talk about that?
Do you want to
Yes.
No, we don't have.
You're so focused on everything.
No, I truly, like, I've never really had friends.
Why not?
I don't know.
You're also moving from place to place.
He has scary Russian parents.
Do you want to talk about that with me?
Why with you?
It's a joke of like, I could be a therapist.
I
if you
got the
want.
joke. I got the joke.
Okay, well, why?
Welcome
I
to
got the
therapy
joke
on air.
too.
Yeah, I'm happy to talk about it.
We can do it off camera. It's fine. You know,
Even on camera, I mean, people will learn.
I'm joking. No, but seriously, talk to me.
I've never had like close friend, but I also grew up in New York City, surrounded by like Jews. Like that's like growing up, I didn't know that Jews were like a tiny part of the population. I thought everyone was Jewish. I went to a Jewish school. I lived in New York. Like I had no idea. But I'd say like I've met people in the modeling world, the political world, like who say things about Jews, and I just like write a little comment in their contact form in my phone just so I know to avoid them in the future.
Can you give examples of like something you've maybe heard on a model shoot? Like an offhand, like maybe they don't know you're Jewish and they say something offhand.
Like she definitely got a nose job, or I don't know if it's like
Jews have big noses.
Well, yeah, but I don't know if it's like a New York thing or like.
Is that real? Okay,
I need a nose job.
No, I was gonna say like maybe controversial take. Is that really that's anti-Semitism?
No, but I don't
talking
know,
about Jews having.
I don't know if
big,
it's New York or Jewish or what, but there's like everyone has always said that like when a girl turns like 18, her parents buy her like a boob job or a nose job. So like that's the one that I've always heard for some reason. I can tell.
So wait a second, just
great tits.
Zach, just to like
anti-Semitic.
just to say, if I looked at you and like I was like, oh, black people, big lips.
That's anti-Semitic.
Is that racist?
You can't.
Is that racist?
I mean, me personally,
I'm just looking at it. It's just like right off the bat. One second. Right off the bat, is that racist?
It sounds racist.
Okay, so it's the same thing. The optics are not good. The optics are not good. Jews, big nose. Come on.
To figure out how black or how Jewish you are based on your physical features, like that's
racist. It is racist. That's what I'm saying. It is racist the same way that you were saying. Is it so bad? So I'm just trying to like. I'm trying to compare
have
for
me
you.
rethinking.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you're trying to judge someone by you're only as Jewish as big your nose is, that's literally like definition racism.
Right.
Like,
I'll make a joke about a Jew with a big nose. Like we don't care, we make jokes.
Right,
but I think as a 17-year-old girl, someone being like, "Are you actually Jewish?" Because Jews don't, Jews aren't pretty. I've heard that Jews are this.
I've heard that. Yeah, Jews aren't hot. Jews aren't pretty.
Exactly.
Because the fucking media always has. When
everyone
TV
knows
shows
that a Jewish 10 is like is a non-Jewish 6. So they say about men and women.
There is some, sorry, but I'll be honest, call me a self-hating Jew, but there is some truth to that.
I don't believe. I don't agree.
Sorry.
I do not agree.
You're the unique scenario, the unique case. Don't get me
I do
wrong.
not agree.
I'm just saying.
If you go to Israel, though, you would disagree with that.
Oh, yes, that is true.
Okay.
That is true.
I
Maybe it's
disagree.
just religious Judaism
No,
because
it's
we eat too much
Sephardic
cholent.
versus Ashkenazi. We know what it is.
Maybe that's what it is.
Right,
It's
Sephardic
Ashkenaz
versus
inbreeding.
Ashkenaz.
Yeah, we know what it is.
I'm just saying, yeah.
Ashkenaz inbreeding.
The conversation, no.
Sephardic Jews, league of their
When
own.
when you're in Israel and you see that chick in the Israeli army, like standing on the side of the street or wherever with a gun in an Israeli army, and she is you just fall down. You just kiss her feet because it's like the greatest thing in the history of mankind.
No, I agree.
She agrees. with me.
I would like ride the bus in Israel just to like get to sit next to a soldier.
There you go.
Like,
I'm
it's
saying
a lot.
that how hot they are. Not,
Yeah.
I'm saying mixed, whatever.
No,
okay.
I'm saying because of how hot the
Okay,
males
go.
are.
We're on the same
You
page.
got it,
Good.
okay.
Okay, fine. As long as we're on the same page. Okay, good. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just want to say now we're on the Jewish topic. I want to know more about like where you're at right now, Jewish wise.
No, but can I go back? Sorry, a little bit.
No, absolutely not. I just asked a question.
1 second.
I'm just joking. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
Your question is a great question,
Go
but
ahead.
I had a question that.
Yeah.
Could you explain specifically how you grew up? Because you mentioned that you went to an Orthodox school. Could you just speak to like how you grew up? Was your house Shomer Shabbat?
Yeah.
Was the school
I think
you
that
went
was
to?
your question.
This was my
No,
question.
your question you said was like,
Yeah, just in general, like how
what she is now.
Yeah, but it was in general. I feel like she was gonna go through her life a little bit. It was an open-ended question.
Apologies. I like to ask you direct questions.
I know. So I was just like, okay, Jewish
You
wise,
guys are
where
both
do you
killing
stand? Where do you stand? How did you grow up? All that stuff.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, we good?
Growing up, I was I knew I was Jewish. We did not keep Shabbat. We did not keep kosher. I never had like shellfish or pork in my life, but that was kind of the extent of it. We went to shul on obviously high holidays and stuff. I went to Park East Day School. I'd say it's like modern, or like the shul is an Orthodox shul, but it's like I wore the uniform and I was in school from like, I don't know, 7:30 start davening to like 5 p.m.
Oh,
Like it was like
legit modern
yeah,
Orthodox.
it was like a real I mean, I learned to speak. I went to school with Russian being my only language, so I learned English and Hebrew at the same time when I was like 3 or 4 when I started. So like, I mean, Judaism was everything I knew. I don't think we were very religious at home.
Were there the male teachers in school? Were they wearing
All
like
rabbis.
yarmulkes,
They were
kippahs? They're all rabbis.
Yeah,
Got it.
Yeah. So that's kind of all I knew, and I loved them. I just knew that like we didn't keep kosher, but no one in my class was really like. I think I was probably the most religious person even at that point in my class. And then when I was, I want to say 14 or 15, my dad was on a business trip. My mom has always been like the more religious of the like she's just like much like my grandfather, like it's everything to her. My dad was on a business trip. My mom had befriended one of the teachers in our school. I think they're still like good friends now. And my mom decided to like kosherize the house behind my dad's back. I think it was like,
Amazing.
is it like the 1-800 Go Kosher people? Is that who does it?
I don't know.
You guys don't even know.
Never
I'm
heard
pretty
of that.
sure if you call 1-800 Go Kosher, like it's those people. I think my mom still donates to them. So they like showed up when my dad was on a business trip.
It's like Ghostbusters for kosher.
Exactly. They show up and they're like, you got to leave the house for a day. And they just like get rid of everything or clean everything. I mean, you know the deal. Everything was kosher. My dad comes home and there's like stickers everywhere. It's like dairy and meat and parv. And he's like flipping out on the side. I'm like, what the fuck just happened in our house?
This is unbelievable.
He was not happy.
It's like home makeover.
Yeah, he was not happy. And then my mom was like, we're kosher at home. You do whatever you want in your life. Like when you're ready, it's on you. But like this house, like do not bring me anything. And like I would have friends and she'd be like, get him a paper plate and sit him in the hallway. Like don't bring that food in here. But without like she was fine. Again, I'd never touched shrimp or anything. But like I kept eating, McDonald's chicken nuggets, things like that.
How could you?
Right. I still miss them to this day. But I think like 17 years old, this is another story, but I went behind my parents' back and made Aliyah to Israel. And then I was like, I'm going to become fully kosher. And then that's kind of,
So right now you're fully kosher?
I'm fully kosher and a citizen of Israel. So yeah.
You're also a citizen of Israel. When did you have time to do everything you're fucking doing? I don't understand this. Could you teach me your ways? Do you have more hours in the day than I have?
She's
No,
got that
but
thing
you
on
guys
my
sleep
head
more
in
than
Harry
I
Potter.
do.
Me?
Yeah, don't you said 8-9
I
hours.
said I get 8 hours a night.
That's a lot.
I can't do less.
That's luxurious, Liv.
Can't do less.
No, but it's also 8 hours.
I tried. I work every second that I can in between that.
Yeah, good.
Right.
I can only do.
I'm sure you're killing it.
No, but I don't function if I'm on less than that. Like,
Yeah.
that's always the one thing I always tell people, right? That if I had one wish, it would be that I could sleep 5 hours a night. That's it.
But I think sleep is good for you.
There are some people who
Yeah.
can literally sleep 5 hours and function fine.
My brain is so high wired crazy that I'm anxious. I'm always thinking. So if I don't sleep, my brain just goes into overdrive.
Oh,
and
no, I'm the same
explodes.
thing. I don't fall asleep because my brain
Yeah,
keeps
yeah. So
thinking.
like people like us need to sleep, or our brains will actually burn out.
Or Xanax.
Of course, yeah. That's,
So wait a second.
That's a good one.
Right now so since you became a citizen, whatever, since you made Aliyah, whatever, you're full kosher the whole 9 yards?
yeah, I mean, I'll eat at a non-kosher restaurant. I won't touch meat, obviously. I won't touch like non-kosher wine or anything.
So you're dairy. You're dairy out.
Yeah, I have
Okay.
2 sinks at home, like 2 sets of dishes, like the whole
Oh, you're
nine.
doing all
Oh,
that.
legit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And Shabbat.
And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 90% of the time I keep Shabbat. Like things always seem to come up, but like I
Right.
try my best. I don't make plans or anything. Like I will never be like, let's see a movie on
Right,
Friday
right.
night.
Do
know?
you and are you going to synagogue? You're going to shul?
Yeah, it's been harder since moving to Florida because everyone's like, just walk to shul. It's 4 miles away. And I don't really understand how that works. When we were living here, we went every Shabbat for like the last, 5 years before we moved.
I know of a minion in Palm Beach, by the way.
We're in Boynton Beach right now,
In
but when I
Boynton-
get to Palm Beach, I will ask you. No,
Sure.
right now we go to
The
Chabad
guy
of East
who-
Boca.
Okay.
Oh.
One second,
okay.
you're in Boca?
I'm in Boynton, but the rabbi from the Chabad of East Boca is the one who married me, and that's like my parents' person there, so we'll go there. But it's a whole thing.
So my brother lives in West Boca. I know many people who live in East Boca, so very, very cool.
Yeah.
Whatever, if you
Sure
ever
they
need
know
a
the
Friday night
rabbi.
meal, you just let me know.
Thank you.
I'll connect you.
I will always
I'll make a
take
few
any
phone
meal.
calls.
Perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Always make a few digits. I got you.
Yeah.
No, but any other questions, by the way, on this particular topic? Because I had something else.
Just on the Judaism thing.
Yeah.
Well,
on how Jewish I am.
yeah. Well, I guess like less about the like the externals, like with kosher,
Yeah.
but like what do you think like the role Judaism is actually playing in your life right now? Like, do you find like you sounds like you have a hectic schedule.
Yeah.
You've said probably 9 times during this podcast that you're insane. Yeah. Like, do you find real meaning in Judaism or real peace of mind?
100%. I don't think I would be be myself now if not for that. Like, I can't handle the anxious, crazy part of me without that calm part. Like, when I wake up and I say the Shema, I'm like, oh, I could start my day now. Or like, just like basic. I mean, I got on the plane today and I don't like planes at all. I'm like, let me read Tehillim. Like, let me just, like I have my little book. Like, it's like everything.
It grounds you.
Yeah. I mean, I hope to be more religious. Like, I hope when I have children, it's like I would be even more religious. But
I'm just picturing you in a shaitel or a snood right now. It kind of works. It works.
I don't know about that. That's the only one where I'm like, I don't know.
Schwimmkleid.
But
Swim Clyde.
like my kids are gonna go to like a very Orthodox school. Like I know that, and like Judaism's
Nice.
always like
Cool.
it's
You
the
find
only
you-
thing I know. Like no matter how the world changes and my life changes, it's the only thing that's always there.
There's something nice about that it's much older
Exactly.
than Republican
And it-
versus Democrat.
Right, and it
Jew versus-
means
it's
more than
the oldest
me.
thing.
Like when I die, no one's gonna remember me, but Judaism has to live on forever.
And how
it's important.
does it interfere with all the ventures? And does it interfere? Does it become like does it ever become like a struggle on like, okay, that this modeling job that needs to be done now, but I know that if I fly to this place, it's going to be tough for me to keep the Shabbat there, or things like that, like things that come up.
Random things. I mean, that happens with everything.
Right.
I'd say parties are that's like the most. People get really offended when you won't take a glass of champagne. Like when we're celebrating that, people get really offended for some reason. Like they don't understand. Like if I said I was vegan, they'd probably be like, that's great. But when
Right.
I'm like, I'm kosher, I can't. They're like, yeah,
Tell them you're alcoholic
exactly.
in 12 steps.
What about when they hand me like the pork? Then what do I do?
Well, that they should know that.
You're a
Jewish.
porkaholic also?
Yeah.
No, pork is like,
Porkaholic.
You're an AA for pork.
You can just say,
PA.
when they offer you the pork, you say, I'm a model.
True. But yeah, no, that. But I'd say the hardest part is people not understanding. And I don't
Right.
blame them. But like, I think my parents would like talk to me about it when it was happening just because it didn't click in my head that it was even weird. But not a lot of people like shoot in swimwear on a Wednesday and then go to their shul on Shabbat 3 days later, like an Orthodox, And like, I know for a fact that like, probably not the one rabbi because he like doesn't go on the internet, but like my other rabbi, like I know he can Google me. And it's like, that's weird.
Have you
because-
felt judged from that, or they
I'd
understand?
say more from myself than anyone else, just because I feel very strange. Like the people in my shul are some of the most important people in my life, and if I go and like see my rabbi, like in my head, it's like, what the hell has he seen? Like, what does he know? What did people tell him? Like, why is the girl that's here that like his wife is hugging as if it's like her child? Why was she in Maxim? Like, I don't want to make them look bad. Like, there was an article that described me as like an Orthodox Jew, and I got a lot of hate for that. I told them to describe me however they want. Like, I would never be like, I'm Orthodox, because I know that makes some Orthodox people uncomfortable. Like, I don't say that about myself. So I'd say it's mostly just like, I don't want to make anyone else feel
Talking
like
about
I'm
the
being
Times of Israel?
disrespectful. Yes, thank you for
It's
reading
so
that.
funny, by the way.
Ay.
Oh, it's hilarious you said that because it came up yesterday. I
But-
kid you the fuck not.
I have a question, like when you said,
that
like when it
bothers
comes,
I'm not surprised that the Times of Israel was the one to do that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
They didn't even add, like, they were like, yeah, Orthodox model. And it's like, don't write
Because
this.
it's fine. It works with their narrative.
clickbait.
Right, but then they're
No,
using
for their
a
narrative, it's great.
But then they
whatever.
use a bikini photo for the first shot, and it's like,
Again,
that's
for their narrative, it's great,
100%.
and that's why they did it. Because they would like to call an Orthodox Jew whoever the hell
yeah.
want. Whatever. Anyways,
I get it.
it's
when it
lovely
comes
paper.
Yeah,
when
but
it
it
comes to
bothers
the
me.
you said when it comes to the kids thing, you're
Yeah.
definitely gonna send like
It's beautiful.
more
By the
Orthodox
way, I just wanna
places.
say everything you just said, whatever before, I found beautiful, like inspiring, really.
Do you see yourself? You're saying you said like you feel a little strange with the other stuff. Do you
Yeah.
think that like when you have kids and things of that nature, that you're going to be more toned down with that, or do you feel like it's just going to be your life is going to stay the same?
Yeah.
and you're just going to
I'm
teach
going to hand the child to my mother, and I will keep doing what I'm doing. Most likely.
legit.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I'll meet him when he's like 10.
I was going to ask you,
That's
though,
amazing.
what are your thoughts about your child Googling your name
Yeah.
in 15, whatever, God willing.
Let's say he's
short-
in yeshiva. Okay,
Let's say he's
he's wearing a black hat,
He
and
might be.
he might be, and
Yeah.
he Googles Elizabeth Pipko.
Yeah, little Yossi.
2014.
And up comes
2017.
Maxim.
Yeah.
Front
Yeah.
page cover.
I mean, I'd say I'd be really glad that I said no to like the Playboys and other things. Like I really thank God that I had a brain.
I don't see any world where that kid isn't like, yeah, my mom's a freaking boss.
Yeah, I feel like
most popular kid in yeshiva by
I never
far.
did
Come on.
anything. Like I never did anything that a kid can't actually look at. Like I was never naked. I never did anything stupid. But I mean, any kid that sees their mom doing anything, like wearing a mini skirt, is going to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
I just like again, I got super lucky with my parents. Like I almost wish that they were a little less cool. But like I would shoot something, and my dad would text me like which pictures were the hottest.
That's
so
amazing.
yeah, like my
That's
dad.
hilarious.
That's like I was so like they
I
trusted me
cannot imagine
so
that
much.
happening with my dad.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
My mom was like less
Imagine
cool.
your dad texting you like, "You look really buff in the recent episode of Mislaibeled, son."
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, my
amazing.
mom was less cool. I mean, she was fine, but my dad, like, truly just the best dad in the world, like, trusted me, knew that I wasn't doing anything bad. And he's just like, no,
That's
like, you
awesome.
look better here. Like, this is, or like, this is your body, and like, I gave it to you, so go. Like, that he, like, didn't care at all. So
Does
maybe.
he take credit for the body? He's like, "Those are my jeans. My
Yes,
jeans."
yes, he does.
Your dad's.
Yes, he will
So-
say that. Yeah,
I'm gonna press a little
He's
hard
the
here.
secret sauce.
yeah please.
When it comes to like you say you have like relationships with the
should've pushed
Chabad,
the button
I know
there.
I had thought about it, but I only have
took me a
one,
second.
but I actually
Yeah.
have two because
Gave him one more.
You gave me one more. Okay. But you said like you have a relationship with like the Chabad of East Boca and things
Yeah.
of that nature. Do they ever bring up like I guess you said like they don't really know about it, but
I mean, I don't publicize
you don't publicize it, but
know.
have they ever talked to you about maybe being more sneeze or things of that nature?
I mean, the rabbi, like the Chabad that I go to in Boca, that rabbi married my husband and I, and like our photo, like at the chuppah, is like in the Chabad calendar. So like clearly he's cool with it.
Right.
Maybe because it was at Mar-a-Lago and then he's more into that than he is me and my husband.
Okay.
They're using you.
Everyone knows the Chabad's for clout.
They are. Right?
Yeah.
Chabad
So,
loves doing big things. They like big picture
Yeah, they
things.
need it. They use the clout to do good work, but yeah, they're good at getting clout.
there's like some people that like it would just break my heart if it disappointed them. So like those ones kill me, but I feel like they love me more than I love
But does it-
myself and don't care.
Does it disappoint you though? Isn't that what's important?
Right.
I don't think it disappoints me. I just feel like
Then it's fine.
God gave me like too many passions. And it's very hard for me to be like, I want to be this like proud Orthodox Jewish woman, but I also have other things going on. And I just don't want anyone to think that I'm disrespecting Judaism ever. And it's just like, there's so many evil, horrible people out there. I'm in so many different industries. Everyone says something. And when it's like, you're ugly, you're stupid, whatever, cool. But when it's like, just so you know, like Hashem's not proud of this, or like you're disrespecting your grandfather with it, like those ones truly kill me.
Label, you know what I think about though?
That's like
it's happened
that's
once
like
or twice in my life.
No, that
Yeah,
that
like
is true. That is
those
real
ones-
trauma.
we call it yichus shaming.
Yeah, I can't handle those.
That's real
That's the new
trauma.
word, ladies.
No, I mean I
Yichus
think that
shaming.
there's a lot of religious
By
people.
the way, can we pause for a second? Yichus shaming. Strong.
Good, strong,
Yichus shaming.
strong.
Yeah.
Name of your memoir.
Yeah, we're gonna get T-shirts. Have you been yichus shamed?
Elizabeth's gonna show me how to write a book soon. She's gonna, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, that's
Ghostwriter.
another thing I was gonna
wait.
ask. Oh,
He was about to
Yeah,
go.
middle.
go.
Well, no, I forgot it. Oh no, I was going to say that I do think that's
Yeah.
definitely something that perhaps one of the only things that you've said that I can actually relate to because we have very different lives. But like the idea of just you can tell someone like, "Oh, you're ugly." Like there's a lot of things you say to hurt someone, but when
Yeah.
you tell them that you think that the way they behave, sometimes just the way that they are, things that
Yeah.
they can't control, is something that God wouldn't approve of,
Right.
is an incredibly that's so damaging.
Especially when God is like that big a part of
Because
their
God is
lives.
that big of a deal, and
Exactly.
God is like the ultimate parental figure. So you're basically saying like,
Yeah.
Dad thinks I'm worthless, Mom thinks I'm worthless. You know, like it's
Yeah, but I
that's-
also
that's,
like
that's hard.
I didn't grow up Orthodox, but I know a lot of people in that community, and I have more than respect for people that have given up a hell of a lot more than I have to live the way that they do. And the fact that anyone would compare us, like, almost feels disrespectful even to me. Like, I don't want to put that on anyone. I'm trying to have my own relationship with Hashem, and I'm trying every day to be more and more religious. But it's not on me to be like, oh, I'm Orthodox. Like, that's not fair. And
It's
people,
also like when people's relationship with God is like personal.
Yeah,
and everyone has their own struggles, has their own journey, has their own shit,
Yeah.
and has their own weaknesses and strengths.
But
and like,
unfortunately, the internet writes about mine. They don't write about my
Right.
rabbi. So I am going to be the face of like making Judaism look bad. Like that's like my
Right.
nightmare, and I can't.
You and
deal
Ben
with it.
Shapiro.
Please,
You're
no.
probably a Ben fan, no?
That's a no.
You're not?
he's not a Ben.
I think
fan.
he's very smart. Like,
I'm a huge
Aw,
Ben fan.
sorry, guys.
I love Ben. I'm a huge Ben guy.
good.
No, I think it's great, actually. Let me ask you a question. So let me ask you a question on that note. Shmuley,
You
one
just
second.
ruined their crush on you, Ben.
One question. No.
No.
So one thing, as your views, like I've read stuff about your views. I'm going to go back a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm just curious. So originally I wrote that your views were like you're very pro-Trump, et cetera, et cetera. Have those views changed at all in the last 7 years or not?
Personally or politically?
Both.
I guess both. Yeah.
Like I said, personally, I wish I could say I had like a crap relationship with him or anyone in the
then
family.
politically.
I have nothing but good things to say about them. I think a lot of like his policy views get misconstrued a lot. So I'd say in my own head politically, I'm like, yeah, we probably agree on a lot of things. But like the average person won't see it that way. So I try not to say that. I consider myself in the middle. People laugh at me when I say that, but I truly don't think I'm left or right. I don't think Trump is super right. People don't like that. I think the more DeSantis comes up, the more you'll realize that Trump is actually a centrist. But I think for what he is, just policy-wise on paper, in the Republican Party, he'll be the closest to my views because people are getting so far one way or so far the other way. He's the closest to the middle.
So is he getting? He's getting your vote in 2024 if he's running.
He's running, and yes,
No, I mean if he wins the nomination,
he'll win the nomination.
he's going to win the nomination, of course. Yeah.
Why are you so confident?
I just don't like Ron DeSantis.
I actually like Ron DeSantis a lot.
Of course, you like Ben Shapiro. You would like Ron DeSantis.
I like her.
I don't know. I like Ron DeSantis. I like Trump. Whatever.
Yeah.
I like Trump policy as well. To clarify, I just like. I think DeSantis is a little bit of a much more normal version. I feel like they have similar policy. Sounds like I'm totally off on that.
No. I mean,
So to
they're
me,
both in the same party. They'd
okay.
have
So
some-
no, but specifically on policy, I guess you could be in the same policy. You could be in the same party. But I feel like DeSantis and Trump are pretty close on policy, if not pretty identical. And DeSantis is just the more normal version. So I'm just like, hey, he's not going to win. Granted,
Yeah.
Trump has such a strong base, etc. But I would just be like, if there was a choice between the two, I feel like you're just getting Trump without the chaos that comes with it with DeSantis.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
I
I've
don't know if
heard
there's
that
any.
a lot.
I don't know if
yeah.
there's any truth to that, but
I'm
that's.
sure there's some.
Anyways,
I was gonna go like not a more superficial question, but in general, in your industries that you're into, like who are the people that you look up to? So like number one in politics, and then modeling, and then I don't know on the Jewish front, like people
Yeah.
that are being very pro anti-Semitism,
Yeah.
right? Like who do you look
Yeah.
up to that like that's your
I mean, in politics, I'll tell you, like, what my husband says. If you look up to any politician, you have to reevaluate your life. So,
Okay.
no one. They're all horrible. Like, truly, they're all awful.
got it. So you're your favorite politician.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Judaism. I mean, like, I'd say, like, my Rebbitzin. Like, I don't really have, like, I don't see a lot of people doing a lot of amazing. I mean,
But like, let's say back in the
some-
day, like the whole like Golda Meir, things like that. Like who
I mean,
would you
I'd say
say
I'm a
is like
fan
someone
of
that
Golda
like
Meir.
who's someone that like you look up to like let's say in history, like that you are like
I don't know. I mean, I've gotten a lot of inspiration from, like, Elie Wiesel.
okay.
My grandpa and him were very close. My
Okay.
grandpa,
Wow.
my grandpa made his Nobel Prize that he was given.
Oh, wow.
So, like, I grew up again with my grandpa being like, "You got to talk to this man. You got to listen to everything he said." Like,
So you've met him, and you had met. Okay, wow.
So, like,
Close
I mean,
relationship.
yeah, he was a big deal. My Rabbi Arthur Schneier, he's like a very big deal as well. I mean, honestly, in Judaism, I like it has to be my mom. Like, she just is like the purest. I don't even know what this like. She just loves it so much and is so connected. I don't think there's like any person that like Hashem has created like more perfectly than my mother to just like be here and like
wow.
be like the proudest, happiest. Like, she's just it. So I mean, honestly, her like I don't.
She's her.
Yeah, I don't even like.
She is the moment. She.
Yeah, like she, like her soul was like crafted by God. Like, you know, like everyone's soul I'm sure was, but like hers got extra time.
That's like a
You know?
really nice thing to say about someone. I'm gonna start saying that about people that I really that deserve it. That's a
Yeah.
you can don't really do better compliment than your soul was crafted by.
Hers was. I mean,
Super
all of
clever.
our souls were.
But
like,
yours is more apparent.
Hashem spent a lot more time on my mom's. Like,
Nice.
she's yeah.
Nice.
I'd say my
What other industries are you involved in right now? I feel like there's some things we didn't
I mean, I'm trying to write another book.
about
That's another question I was actually gonna ask
about
after.
dog raising.
Do you write your own books or do you have ghostwriters?
My only book. I wrote 2 books of poetry when I was younger, but I've only written like one actual book. I told the publisher that I had it like 30, I probably said like 50% done. I actually had not started, and I got pneumonia, and I laid in bed for 5 weeks and wrote my book.
You wrote every word
Swear to God, every word, 70,000 words in bed in 5 weeks when I was sick.
while you were sick.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you?
I laid with a laptop. I mean, I couldn't get up. So
One of
I was
the-
like, what a great time to write a book.
Writing
No, what a
book
good time to
me-
binge Netflix.
I'm not good at, I'm so psychotic that I can't watch new shows because they make me anxious. Like, I'll just watch like Friends reruns because I
Because
know
you
them
need to
word for
know
word.
how it ends.
My husband and I just watched. Do you guys watch Star Wars stuff? Like Mandalorian? Okay. I have to read the spoilers before every episode because I can't.
Oh, you are insane.
I
Okay.
can't breathe. I get so connected to like the characters. Yeah, I don't do well with new
Did you
stuff.
watch My Unorthodox Life?
No, I got very insulted by a few trailers, and I was like, I can't. Nope.
Same.
Don't get me started on my unorthodox
No, I'm
life.
sure I couldn't. All my friends were so angry, I just didn't even want to look at it.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that.
We have to talk about a different show. We're not going to talk about it here.
The Jewish matchmaker?
Oh wait, but what is the? Can you talk about what the next
amazing.
book is about?
Yeah, I want to do. A lot of people have talked about it. I think you mentioned it like out there for a second. People now have like the new terms for men, the alpha, the this. People always ask me to go on like podcasts, talk about like dating. People are very intrigued by the fact that I got married when I was young, or just like different
I
experiences
actually have this
that I've
written
had.
down. By the way, when I look at my phone, it's because I have a list of things written down. This is something I wanted to get to. But
We'll
go
get
on.
to it. So I think I want to write a book about a woman's role in the world because I want people to realize that it is a man's world until it actually isn't. And there's just not enough out there for young girls to actually read and be like, oh, I can use the fact that I'm a woman and actually excel in this world and be proud of that. And I think there's a lot, because I've been in every different industry where women are viewed in some of the most negative ways possible, and I think I've still thrived. I kind of want to write something
Where are
about
women
that.
viewed more negatively, politics or modeling?
Politics.
Could you explain-
That's a
could you
soundbite.
explain everything you just said? What do you mean? Just dive in for me deeper.
To this question,
You said a statement that you feel that men are believed to, that the world is theirs.
people say it's a man's world, right? And I think it is. I mean, more likely a man's going to be president, the man's going to be the general in the army, like the man leads the family, the man leads the home. I think that's correct. But I think people say it in such a negative way. Whereas, by the way, like you said, what does Judaism mean to you? In Judaism, you're taught a woman's role and how beautiful it can be. The woman is not second to the man. She has
Right.
her own responsibilities, like lighting Shabbat candles and other things. So I think that is not in our culture enough. And I want to write something for young girls to read that explains how you can thrive in a man's world and actually be on the same exact level and not take it in a negative way that so many people see it as a man's world today.
Interesting.
So
And I
really, you're
agree.
not saying
It's
it's a
really-
man's world.
right,
It's really
exactly.
a man and woman's world together.
Yeah.
It's just portrayed as a man's world.
Exactly.
My question is, why do you think it's portrayed that way? That's where I was getting at.
I mean, women and men are different. We have different, roles in society. It's portrayed as a man's world. I mean, basic things. The man is, president of the United States is always going to be, for now, probably a man. I mean,
I hope Nikki Haley becomes the first woman president.
she won't be.
Just saying.
Please don't get me
I
started.
love Nikki Haley.
Of
You don't
course
like
you
Nikki?
do. Of course
I
you
mean,
do.
of course. Nikki's a beast. What are you kidding me? Nikki, could you be my mommy, please? Thank you.
That is the weirdest soundbite I've
One of-
mislabeled. I'm giving in my 2 weeks.
One of my good friends is like in love with her. I don't understand.
Why don't you like her?
I just don't like her. She's so unlikable. I don't.
I so disagree with you on this.
I
but
have
okay.
so many friends.
You think she has resting bitch face?
Nikki does not have
she's
resting
just
bitch
bored.
face. What are
She's
you,
horrible.
crazy? First of all,
Hey,
she's
that's
a huge
Label's mom
defender
we're
of
talking
Jews. Can we
about.
just discuss this right?
You can be a defender of Jews and still be a really boring person. You can even be a defender of Jews and be a bad person. I'm not saying she is. I'm just saying it doesn't mean anything.
I'm a huge Nikki Haley fan. You're not going to
I
sell me
know,
on this
a lot-
particular. On this particular one, sorry, my brain is shut
so
off.
many Jewish
I'm self-aware
men
to admit
are like
this.
in love with her.
She's amazing. I don't know what you want me to do. I like her. Her eloquency. I think she's great.
You guys think she's great?
I don't know enough about
really
her.
don't know enough about
I
her.
just know that Label is in love
Yeah.
with her.
I
get it.
I love Nikki Haley. What
I don't get
am I
it.
gonna say?
Honestly, the only
Nikki, if
politician.
you're out there, I would love to come to South Carolina, give you a bracha, and then have you on my podcast.
She'd probably come on.
The only politician that I've even paid a tiny bit of attention to, because she keeps showing up on my Instagram feed, Marianne Williamson.
Williamson.
Love
her. Yes.
She's
of course.
amazing. Everything
You
that comes
should
out of
have
her
Marianne
mouth.
Williamson,
Who is she?
the one with the crystals.
I don't know who she is. Do you know her?
I didn't know about the
I-
crystals.
She's big on the crystals.
Really?
healing
No,
crystals?
okay, now I'm backpedaling a
No,
little bit.
she's crazy, but I love her. No, you
But
should have
everything
her.
I've
She's great.
saw that she posts
Yes.
is like, I'm like, I
She's-
agree.
She's like
I
your
agree.
yeah. She's like very left, but in like
She's just emotionally intelligent.
very.
She's
she was
emotionally
like,
intelligent.
She's
That's
like
it.
Oprah's like something for the last like 20 years.
I'm back.
Sounds like a walking chakra.
I'm trying to
Yes.
understand.
She's a
your,
walking chakra.
She was like.
But she
We
really
can
she
Google
like
this. I
she's
think
a
she like
therapized
worked
person.
for Oprah.
It's
She's
amazing.
written a bunch of books. Like she's like a spiritual leader and everything. Like people love her.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand your position on I guess not just politics but people in
I
general.
like interesting people.
based on who you like and who you don't.
I don't care how they vote as much as I care about who they are.
Just don't bore you. They just don't want
They
you.
can't bore me and they can't be trash people. Plenty of Democrats
You think Nikki Haley's trash between me and you?
between me and you on the podcast. I don't like her. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm
not a
surprised.
big
So
fan.
who do you like? Like, give me some
I don't like
examples.
anyone. If they're in politics, they're not a good person. It's
Oh,
impossible.
that's what you believe, period?
If you
love it.
lasted in politics more than 5 years,
Do you feel you're ever going to
You've
go into
done
politics?
stuff in that is that you've
You
done
sold
stuff
out.
that you've sold out to
yeah.
that you needed
you
in
ever-
order to move your career forward. And
you
she
feel you're
knows
ever
that,
gonna go
which
into
means that your
politics or no?
values are.
Yeah, I think so.
She's saying herself she's going to go into
But
politics.
1 term and I'm out.
They all say
No,
that.
no,
Get the
no,
fuck
no,
outta
no,
here.
no. I
I
would
mean,
go
you
want to
affect change, get the hell out before they seep into your
I
soul
don't think
and
there's
buy
any
you.
chance to
There's
affect
no chance to
change.
affect change
They
in
don't
one
actually do
time.
anything.
You think you're going to go into politics for 1 term? For what's 1 term? 4 years?
if you're president, if you're in
I
Congress,
mean, you
too.
think you're going to go straight to presidency?
You haven't seen it done
Every-
before? Is that
Oh,
what you're
get the
saying?
fuck
I was gonna
outta here.
say,
I
everything
love you and
you've-
I'm sure you're talented, but
No,
that's
no, no. Everything she has said in this spot has built a character profile of the type of person who runs for president. You're running for president. I believe it.
You
I
can
don't
run
think you're
for
going to
president,
win.
but I'll tell you one thing: you're going to be running for 2 years, and then you're going to be president for 4. That's 6 years. You're in the politics, and you're going to be pulling moves well before that to get yourself into that position. If you think Donald Trump hasn't been working his positions,
What he's doing
every
right now is
single
giving
day-
you fuel
I know.
to prove him
I can
wrong.
give you
Yeah.
I'm about
Yes.
to nominate myself
Yeah,
at
yeah,
24.
yeah.
We're the same exact way in this regard. I
Yeah.
promise you. I promise. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now. If you're a
She's
realist,
saying she's not a string
if you
puller,
think
though.
Donald Trump, every single one of his years leading up to 2016,
100%.
from 1970 till 2016,
Yeah,
was
he's
not
been talking
planting
about it
seed
forever.
after seed after seed, move after move,
Yeah.
fighting with this politician, fighting with that to get himself to a place where he was ready to run. You out of your freaking mind.
Elon Musk
But
is
he-
actually
she's
planting
saying
a lot
that
of
she
seeds.
won't go against any. She's going to keep to everything that she believes in inherently to be a good person and get there.
I love you, and you're an
I
amazing
think-
person, but it's not possible. That
I
is a
think-
lot.
So that's where she.
I
That's
think
where
the
she says that
horribleness truly
she's.
begins once you get in. So I think 1 term
she's
and
not
you
gonna
get
be a
out.
string puller.
And I think Donald Trump or whoever wins right now has to promise term limits because the only thing that the entire country agrees on,
There are
like on
term
both
limits.
sides.
It's 8 years.
No, for president, but look at Congress.
Oh, well,
like
that's all
Donald
the
Trump.
discussion. Yes.
Right,
That's the
like
different thing.
that's the one thing that the left and the right like agree on wholeheartedly, and that's the one thing we all need to pass. 'Cause
I hear that.
can't.
Gonna have to build
And
the
that
wall.
Wendy's has an 100% never frozen beef burger.
I've never been to Wendy's.
Neither have I.
Okay.
All right, another question. Once we're on the topic of ambition.
Yeah.
On the topic of ambition.
Ambition.
Okay, maybe you could teach me a thing or two. So, you're
Please
very.
don't.
What's wrong with you? You're a very ambitious person.
crazier.
They
You're
don't want
very.
you to get more psychotic.
You're just getting
Like
more
me.
psychotic.
Yeah.
It can only get
Can
more
only
psychotic.
go downhill
Williams.
from here.
Listen to me. You're a very, very ambitious person.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and I can respect that a lot. My question to you is, what would you tell all the other extremely ambitious people that are listening to this podcast that have busted their ass and maybe have not gotten to where Elizabeth Pipko has gotten in a very young 27 years and are on that verge of just like angry, frustrated, just like this is not going to work for me and just losing that hope. What would you tell those people of what they need to do at this point of their lives?
Jeez. That's deep. I would tell them that regardless of what you think of Elizabeth Pipko, she still cries every night about not accomplishing things. So you're always going to feel that way about yourself, number 1. Number 2, on your deathbed, you're going to regret the things that you didn't do, not the things that you did. So if you want something, you should go fight for it because God put you on this earth for a reason. Like, it's very simple. If you're here to just, like, exist every day, that's fine. If you're here to live, that's something else. Make your decision and enjoy the pitfalls because you don't get the highs unless you get the lows, Like, it's very simple. If you want to just exist like a lot of people, that's fine. I choose to have the really, really, really big lows because they also eventually come with some really nice highs.
It's funny. I read something recently. I don't know exactly the wording, but it was along the lines of literally it was like in every generation, like there's X amount of people to live. Like 100 of them will be remembered forever. Everyone else will cease to be remembered the minute they die, which is a fucking crazy line if you think about it. Like we're just going to exist we're going to be in oblivion
Exactly.
the minute we pass in 70 to 90 years roughly. And some people will be
Well, we
remembered
might
forever.
be part of those 100.
What?
The 4 of us could be part of the 100 that are remembered forever.
I
You don't
mean,
know.
That would be amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully Mislaibeled will be just forever so great that we'll all be, he'll be the head of China, he'll be the head of Russia, and I'll be the head of America. It'll be fucking crazy. What do they call
Yeah,
it?
just make us the bad leaders. You'll be the head of North Korea.
I want Belarus. Fuck that.
He wants Denmark. He's back to the Danish people. I hear that. Okay. Yeah, I think nowadays there's a lot, like it's hard to make successful in today's day. I mean, there's a lot of competition. Not that there wasn't before, but the world is
it's
also
bad.
moving quickly. Like technology's moving
and it's
quickly.
easier to pretend you're successful.
That is a
That's the
huge,
real
huge
problem.
factor. Like huge. Like you could literally
Yeah.
like rent a Lamborghini and make it seem like you have money on Instagram.
Exactly.
It's like get the fuck out of here.
I do want to say. I want to jut in here for a second. I respect the hustle and I respect ambitious people as well. And I do think that like if something's worth actually doing, not just because you want to accomplish it, but because it's worth doing, then like risk it all, go for the highs, go for the lows, because there's things in this life worth doing. My personal idea of like where I want to be like mental health wise, like being okay with myself, is I want to be okay being part of the majority that doesn't get remembered. That I want to be okay
healthy,
with that.
Actually, yeah.
Because then you can breathe.
Yeah.
And I actually have more of what you and Label have than I let on. I'm just not as good at that executing part.
Yeah.
Getting better at it, but I'm realizing I would love
That's a good line.
to just breathe.
Yeah. I'm jealous of you.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
I'm not there yet.
I would agree with
But
you
you
100%. I don't
already
breathe.
I'm ready to-
decided
No, but that
you
was
want
good.
it.
That was good.
I'm
That was a good
jealous
line.
of that because my brain has not gotten there.
Say that line again, Zach.
Which exact line?
The one about.
I could say something though.
One second. I want Zach that one line that you were saying that you want to be the one like.
I want to. My mental health goal, my security within myself goal is to be the type of person who is okay with being forgotten. I don't want to have to do something for my legacy to be remembered forever. It is okay to just exist. It's actually beautiful to just exist. Love the people you're with. Do good by them. Like accomplish a little bit, but like that nagging monster on your fucking back that says do more.
Basically,
never
accomplish
shut
whatever
up.
you feel comfortable with, and being comfortable with your own self.
Yeah.
However, you don't need to do something that's major that needs to be remembered.
If you want to know something, I would agree with you 1,000,000% that is the healthy way to look at life. With that being said, I don't believe I will ever look at life that way personally. And that is as they would say in the yeshiva world, a ginai in me. That is what it is.
To
It's
quote one of
own
my
shit.
very wise friends, unhealthy is a way to be as well. Some people are going to be unhealthy, and they
That's
might be
me.
that way the day they die. And you should learn to love your unhealthy self. And that takes self-awareness. I don't think it's impossible though. Label for anyone.
I was gonna say that I think it's okay to be to be unhealthy as long as you have like.
I don't think unhealthy is the right word. Like
Whatever the
I'm
point is.
definitely unhealthy.
unhealthy is a very.
You sleep on a wood floor, girl.
Not anymore. I have a pillow now.
One pillow?
Now she's sleeping on one pillow and like the barracks from Auschwitz.
no.
Now.
Notice she said, I'm not sleeping on the floor, so you'd have a pillow. You're still sleeping on the floor, aren't you? Just there's a pillow there now.
I've
knew it.
given up on getting taller. I have a bed frame, a mattress.
Here's
a
my question.
blanket,
I'm
and a pillow.
29. If I start sleeping on the floor now,
I
do
think
I
it's
get that
too
growth
late.
spurt I've been waiting for
My
since I was
brother's been trying. I think
God
it's too
damn it.
late. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty
no,
great.
to me, like, it's not unhealthy versus healthy. Like, everyone has their weaknesses and their strengths, and it's basically everyone wants to be, like, comfortable in who they are. If they want to either go after all their strengths, or if they
Yeah.
want to, like, be able to be like, I have a million strengths, and, like, it's okay if every once in a while, like, I don't go after every single one all
You
the
don't
time.
have to be LeBron. Sometimes you could be J.R. Smith. My new thing is I'm going to bring him up at every podcast. He's my guy.
No, but I think people do get too caught up in healthy and unhealthy.
No, I agree. At the
Like,
same
the
time,
idea of, like, healthy and unhealthy.
but if you spent like a week with me, you'd be like, yeah, this bitch is unhealthy.
I'd be like,
it's-
maybe
it's
she
bad.
should, maybe she should look in the mirror a little bit and be like, okay, maybe there's certain things that can make me have
Yeah.
a more enjoyable experience sometimes. But like, you're making certain decisions because that's what you feel comfortable doing, and your body is leaning you towards those decisions.
Yeah, but
So like,
I wish I could explain it, but like I'm truly like my graduation's this weekend. I literally have told my parents every day this week, please do not go. It's not an accomplishment. Like I'm just getting a master's. Don't show up because I feel like
just a
You're right, because I'm embarrassed that they're gonna take the effort to drive to graduation. Like
For your master's degree.
yes. They don't want to go either. They think it's a joke, but like they're doing it to be supportive. But now they realize
okay,
how
so we're
sick
gonna call
I
you
am.
crazy.
Yeah, or like I'll have a magazine cover come out and I'll cry myself to sleep because I'm celebrating a picture and I'm not actually doing something legitimate. Like I actually like it. Like ambition is also very dangerous.
It's a double. There's a
It's
good and a
horrible.
bad side.
Yeah.
Talk about that magazine thing for a second. Because you just said you will look at a magazine cover.
Shmuley is asking if you could please send them a magazine.
No, it's not what I'm saying.
Plainfield
That's
link.
not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
you said you would look at the magazine cover and then you would cry because you're not doing something legitimate.
Yeah. Like right now, if I look at one, it's fine. But like the day when something comes out, like I remember my husband and my brother got
What's
me a
not
cake.
legitimate about it?
When my husband and brother got me a cake, for example, with my Harper's Bazaar cover on it, I was like, why are we eating cake for this when I'm like stupid and not this and not that and I haven't accomplished this? Like it's just like a photo. Like my parents gave me good genes and I took a nice photo.
So
Like it's
what is modeling to you then?
I don't know. And I've hustled my
No, but
butt
the
off.
answer simply is, sorry for interrupting you,
Yeah.
is that she probably feels this way with just about everything a lot of things you accomplish.
Yeah.
You just put them down as not really being
I'm
accomplishments.
excited about the Masters. People said I was stupid for a long time.
But
So
that
I'm
you are excited
very
about.
excited.
What is the master's in again?
So I'm graduating from the School of Social Policy and Practice at Penn with a master's in NGO and nonprofit leadership. So I'm actually very excited.
You're going to make a lot of money with the nonprofits. It's the most profitable
Well,
concept
the
of all
goal
time.
is to go into NGO stuff and fix what the government has messed up when it comes to helping people. But
Good luck on that.
But that's
Where there's a
something
will,
worth
there's a way.
doing. That's one
Right.
of those things that's worth
Could
doing.
you, I apologize for interrupting, Shmuel, because I think he brought up a great
Yeah.
question.
I feel like
If you're not proud of it, what is it?
correct.
I think I could be there's levels to like being proud or being happy. Like there's like surface level happiness, like someone gets you a gift card or you get a cake for your birthday, whatever. And there's like actual genuine happiness. And I feel like my body doesn't react well to like surface level happiness. Like I'm like, I don't deserve this. Why is this here?
So
Do
why
you feel
do
like
it?
you're just good at it, and like because you're good at it and it can make some money, why not? Or are you doing it because you're ambitious about it?
No, I'm doing it because I think if you enter anything, you have to do it to reach the top.
Got it.
Like you don't model just to model once a year on the side. If you're gonna,
But if you don't feel, not to beat a dead horse, but if you
Yeah.
don't feel that there's anything really to it and it was just the body that was given to you and there's nothing really you put in, which I would assume you did put in.
but then
some
you
way.
could say that about my brain too.
Right.
Like
Right.
this was given to you. I want to be like the most well-rounded version of myself. So if I was just modeling, I'd be like, this is the biggest waste of time ever.
Right.
Like I'm proud that I model and I get the masters and I work and then I go on TV or whatever it is
You're
I'm doing.
political operative also.
If you were just if
You and,
were-
Ron,
if
you and
had-
Roger Stone.
if you just had the
Yes.
lest we forget,
Less people forget. Yeah.
lest people forget. If you just had that, you'd also feel the same way. Like
I mean, I think I'd be
Probably
happy I was
happy,
doing
yeah.
something that mattered, but
I mean, there's a hierarchy. Like you have the hierarchies and like the certain things that you would like
Yeah.
throw away first, throw away second, throw away third. But at the end of the day, everything that you're in, you're gonna go at it 100%
Right.
every single thing. And unless you have to throw something away, you're not throwing something away. But in the things that you don't, sorry, it's long. But in the things that are like lower on the totem pole,
Yeah.
you like easier are you to like shit on yourself for.
I mean, I'll shit on myself for everything, but I also think the internet and social media like has done quite a number on me. Like you said, political operative. I don't Google myself. I'm scared of what's on there. If I ever did,
Good. No, things are
the
good.
sheer amount of like ideas that would come to me, now I have to do this, and this person said I was this in this article 5 years ago, so I have to prove them wrong and do that. Like I already have a list of journalists that I want to send my master's degree to who called me stupid. Like I actually then I'll prove everyone wrong that's ever existed on the internet, and then it's just never gonna stop.
Right.
So I think that that part of our culture has also messed me up significantly because people are literally only talking about what everyone else is doing, and they're posting fake things on the internet. They're writing fake things on the internet. Like everyone is so obsessed with talking about the wrong things
Right.
that I feel like I have to prove people wrong more than I want to like prove myself right. If that makes sense.
Wait, that's a
that
line.
was weirdly deep. Yeah,
That was weirdly deep. You want
Yeah.
to prove people.
Or people
and you think
wrong more
that's
than
a-
I want to prove myself right.
And you think that might be a product of society?
Yeah.
That you want that we all want to prove other people wrong more than we want to prove ourselves. That's beautiful. That is very
right?
deep.
That came out of nowhere.
You are smart. No, but speaking about this culture,
You are smart. By the way, we want to let you know
listened
this,
to you.
this entire interview was just to
We
just to
decided.
gauge if you're gonna
to talk about that culture.
How
about-
smart you are.
So I'll be very open about the fact that like for sure when I was younger, if someone were to word association the word model to me, I would think dumb and hot, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people think that, and I think And then I got a little older and I started reading about like you were the first person I've talked to.
Yeah.
But I've read interviews and like what would you tell the people who still think like, oh, what a easy job, oh they're so dumb, like
Then most of them are
would you
still
say
probably
that
dumb
you know a
enough.
lot of models who are you're in the industry are a lot of them intelligent, or is it like,
Or is that
mostly,
reaching?
Am I reaching? Yeah. Not reaching. Are they
I'd say most are dumb and hot, but the ones that aren't are like exceptionally smart.
really?
Yeah, like you're not going to meet a lot of people that are just like average and modeling.
Well,
They're
a lot of them are
people-
actually dumb.
Are you being serious?
I'm not being surprised. I'm asking. I'm
What
not
is Kate
surprised.
Upton?
I've only talked to her one time. I don't know.
Tell Kate I like her a lot.
That one I'm okay with. That's
Perfect.
better than the
Great.
Nikki Haley. I
Awesome.
like that. Okay.
And I like her husband too, Justin Verlander. Sick picture.
Okay. I
We
don't
almost
follow,
met him.
but
What?
We almost met him in Miami, right?
Did we? I don't think so.
He was at the pitching. Whatever.
Oh, you're right.
We just missed him.
That is true. We
We
did
were
just
gonna
miss
meet
him. Okay, fine.
Yes, I don't follow baseball.
Well, it makes
but I've
sense
heard
because
good
what you're basically saying is that the people that are in modeling are either people that are super ambitious about a certain career they want to go after, kind of like you, and they're very smart because of it, or it's just someone that is just a super beautiful girl that like got
Well, yeah, if you can make money being
whatever and can make
beautiful,
money doing
a lot
it
of
and
people
don't do anything else with their lives because they're
Exactly.
making millions of dollars taking pictures all
And
day.
because social media makes people believe that your career is just never gonna, like, you're never gonna age. You're just gonna stay 23,
Right.
posting pictures online.
It's our
forever.
right as Americans to use what God has given us in our bodies to make money. That's why my beautiful feet have been made. They've paid for several houses.
Okay.
I think we should end on that.
By the way, it is funny. I just saw an article that some guy was arrested in Nashville, Tennessee, like a hotel manager for like sneaking into
I
like
saw that.
a person's like room and sucking his toes. I kid you the fuck not.
Legend.
I just read this.
What?
I literally read this.
That's a man who knows what he wants and he knows how to go after
I think
it.
it was a man sucking on a man's.
Yes,
toes.
yes. Not a woman.
Oh, a progressive legend.
Progressive legend.
Anyways, okay, fine. Couple of things. You keep mentioning that we're going pretty long here, so I want a couple more questions, and then I want. Oh, God. You're done for the night. You're done for the night. You just lost. You just used up your final attempt.
I know that we're like nearing the end.
Okay, fine. That's what she said. Okay, fine. Anyways, hear me out for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, you kept on mentioning that you've gotten married. You got married young. First of all, why? No, straight up. Why?
Honestly,
You
I
could've
asked,
dated for the next 10
myself the
years.
same question. No, I think when you know, you know. Like, it's like that
That's it.
simple. I was in love, and that's it.
How do you guys meet?
We met at work.
Met at work. Okay.
Nice.
Now, and then the next question is like, was it like just like you guys were sitting at a company meeting or something of that nature, or did he come up to you?
I actually,
Were you courted?
I was not courted at all. He was courted. I saw him heard him having a conversation with someone, and that night I came home to my mother and I said, I found the guy I'm going to marry. I didn't even know his name.
Was he talking about video games? Is that what you
He was
overheard?
not talking about
Talking about
video games.
Diablo?
He was making some kind of stupid, sarcastic jokes like he always does, and I was like, oh, this is it. And my mom thought I was absolutely insane. I don't talk about this a lot. Came to find out he obviously was, with my luck, he was not Jewish. He was a random dude, busy doing his own thing. We had 3 conversations, and then I found out that he was as obsessed with me as I was with him and had emailed every rabbi in the tri-state area and started converting before we went on a date.
What?
Crazy.
He was keeping kosher behind my back. We actually, when he met my parents,
While you were like unofficially dating? Or
yeah, like he met my parents for the first time at Donald Trump's inauguration, of course. And we went out to eat, and he ordered chicken nuggets on purpose so they wouldn't freak out that we were like too serious and he was keeping kosher. And he threw them out anyway. But like that's how his brain worked. But he
Holy
is
shit.
absolutely incredible. He studied with a Hasidic rabbi 3 times a week for 2.5 years. He
Jeez.
goes to Orthodox like services. He reads and writes in Hebrew. He is like when you say like a Jewish neshama, like I didn't believe in conversion before I met him. I still cry at night thinking God might hate me. Truly, like I still worry about this. I know.
Why?
But
Why would God hate you?
because like my only job is to procreate Jews. Like I have
Okay,
to.
well, he's
continue-
Jewish now. He converted.
100%. But the way
also, it matters about the mother.
Right, thank God, yeah.
So
But the way
you
that
could have
I-
married anyone, and your kids would be
You're
Jewish.
telling me. But like the way that I looked at conversion before, because I'd met people who had converted, was very, I don't want to say lazy, but like it was not correct, and I
Right.
didn't appreciate
He means
that.
it.
Yeah, he's Jewish. Like if you meet him, like people think that there was actually articles when we got married saying that I took a nice Jewish man and like ruined him as like an improper Catholic girl and like ruined his life. People think he's the Jew in the relationship.
hilarious.
But yeah, he's very Jewish. He's adorable, and he's more committed than most Jews that I grew up with.
Can't wait to meet him when I come to Palm Beach
should.
for a Shabbos meal.
He's the
Can't wait
absolute best.
Does he make a good challah?
He does not make anything, but luckily I'm going to culinary school. So
And he's not actually Jewish if he doesn't make a good challah. And that's what I'm joking.
no,
Okay, one last thing.
yeah.
Israel. Let's talk Israel for 2 minutes.
Okay. Let's sum it up in 2 minutes.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, what's going on there?
What's going on? I mean,
A lot of people with funny
two-state
hats.
solution, one-state solution.
I know nothing about Israel. I'll be just very freaking clear about this. I just
Yeah.
know there's ruckus going on there.
There's
with
a lot
Netanyahu.
going on.
And
Is
I'm
there
just
right now?
curious what your thoughts are overall on Israel, and if you're a huge supporter, which again, I presume you are. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
She did make Aliyah.
Obviously, it's a beacon of a light of democracy in middle of the sweltering Middle East or whatever they say over there. But I just want to hear your quick take on what's going on. If you're pro Netanyahu, not what your overall thoughts are there.
There's a lot going on. I'm not a big fan of people sitting like thousands of miles away, like talking about like policies in Israel. Like people love to talk here, but it's very different talking to my friends who are like hiding in bomb shelters or like living day to day in Israel. Right. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to sit in New York City and like shit on Bibi or say you love him. Like it's a lot easier to sit here and talk about Israeli policy. I have more than respect for everyone I grew up with. By that I mean like 3 or 4 people who went to the IDF. I'm truly like ashamed that I didn't, because that was my dream growing up.
I can still do it, by the way.
I know. You look at my phone right now. I have like
I was gonna say, knowing you're gonna call me in like 2 days. Hey, by the way, I'm in the IDF.
There's a lot, but anyway, it's weird because like when I wanted to make Aliyah, I had never been to Israel. Like I had never stepped foot on Israeli soil. I didn't know anything except that like we are Jews and that is our land. And I felt like a weird connection to the Jewish state, because my dream, we didn't talk about it before, but I made Aliyah because my parents took me to a figure skating competition right as I got injured. And I sat there in my cast as a girl was skating, and she came out and they said representing the Israeli Federation. I didn't know you could do that. I started crying like I always do. And I was like, Hashem, you fixed my ankle. Like, I'm going to do this for Israel. So I went and made Aliyah when every doctor told me I'd never skate again, so I could one day skate for Israel, which is why I'm on the ice every day now. It's a long story. Hopefully that works out. But for me, like, that's the land that exists that will one day, God forbid, but will one day be the only place that keeps like my grandchildren safe, like if worse comes to worse. So it's complicated. You can debate rabbis about this and a lot of people, like based on whether Hashem wants us to have the land right now or not, what he wants us to do with it. I'd say where it is right now is very complicated. It is the only beacon of light, like you said, in the Middle East. It's America's ally. We should respect it and honor it and hope for the best always, because we want democracy around the world. So that's like the basic answer. As a Jew, like, Israel has my heart, it always will, and I hope to God that Israel prevails. I fear for what will happen. As Hashem warned us, it's going to be horrible for many, many years, probably forever. But, I mean, not to get political with it, but, like, I'm very uncomfortable with Jews who don't support the land of Israel. Like, let's just keep it there. You know, there's not much else to say.
I hear that. Okay.
That was comprehensive.
No, I like it. I like the answer. Great answer. And like I said,
Label approves.
I'm not
Label
all that
stamp.
matters.
I'm not satisfied. You didn't fix the Middle East in one sentence. So.
Yep.
Like Jared would, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't pull a Jared.
bro. Well, I actually call pulling a Jared. She kind of pulled a Jared. My line of pulling Jared means you take a girl and you make her religious.
Yeah,
You pulled the reverse Jared.
I'm pretty
pulled
sure.
a reverse
And
Jared.
I think my husband's even more religious. Than
Time out. How do you
than
know
him.
that I said it pulling a Jared? How do you know I was even talking about that? You were like,
You're not the only one that makes that joke.
oh, seriously?
Wow,
swear,
Label.
yeah.
You thought you're the
Stop
only
it.
person
Stop
that,
it.
like...
Stop. Have you heard it from anyone else? The
But
term,
in general, the idea of, like, once you say that term, the idea of that is pretty obvious.
Yeah. When I was
Pulling a Jared. Like,
I know.
what else is pulling a Jared?
Whenever Shmuel like meets someone in
Yeah.
a bar or something, like, Shmuel, are you gonna pull a Jared? Like whatever. Like
By the
whatever
way,
it is.
pulling a Jared is not easy. Like that's
It's not easy at all.
I don't know how I feel about women converting in general. It's another conversation, but like she's committed and she was everything when he met her. Like pulling a Jared is it's a lot.
It's impressive.
Yeah,
It's
very
impressive. People
impressive.
take Jared as a joke. Like this Lily came from, the Kushner family. Not so quick.
No.
Guy's got some
mean,
some moves.
He beat Tom Brady, right? Like
Oh, for Ivanka, is that
Yeah.
actually true? I mean, who knows? Who the hell
pretty
knows?
true.
It is pretty true. Okay,
Yeah.
well, because Trump wanted Brady. I mean, being Trump's son-in-law is a little bit. I'd be a little scared if I was. You know what I'm saying? If I was, Tom Brady might have made.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy. He got Giselle, by the way. Just in fairness, let's not shit on Tom Brady.
Yeah, but then she left.
Yeah.
or he left.
And now it was with
Whatever,
the
I think
yeah.
Giselle left Tom.
I honestly have no idea. I don't know.
have a hard time believing. Maybe not, but he didn't get the short end of
Yeah.
the stick there. That much I'll tell you. Regardless of who left him.
Yeah.
He is the most eligible bachelor right now in America, bar none. I feel like.
I never got into the Tom Brady thing.
I mean, do you have to be into Tom
Really?
Brady to know
I
this?
don't think he's good looking, and I've never watched.
You
the
have
World.
lost
Something is
all
number
credibility as a human being on this podcast. We are
sorry,
we
I
are
never-
not putting
Do you
this
think-
out.
What does that mean? Do you
You're
think
insulting
Brad
Label's
Pitt is
man
good
crush.
looking?
No.
She
No,
doesn't
I
mean Brad Pitt
think
is a-
he's like obviously like he's not ugly. He's just like not my thing.
These are conventionally, like universally good looking
That's
guys.
like saying like I don't find Blake Lively attractive.
No, she's pretty. She's okay.
She's okay.
No,
Like,
she's
what?
pretty. I'd say she's pretty.
Or like,
it's like these are.
that's like a guy saying Megan Fox is not hot.
No,
Guys,
Megan
by the way,
Fox
this
really
is
hot.
Right. So like that's
She is
Tom
the-
Brady's
I
the
think there's
equivalent. Brad Pitt's the equivalent.
I don't like men that like aren't like blonde, that like just
Got it.
Yeah.
How are you as a man blonde? That's a very feminine trait.
But that's what I'm saying. No,
Why are
like-
you not currently at war as a brunette?
Yeah.
I understand
You know what it
perfectly.
is? It's like Tom Brady or Brad Pitt. They look like guys who shave their chests. That's like the best way to put
She only
it.
shaves his chest. So
I
he
do.
doesn't know what
You
they're
do?
doing.
You have
I do.
to stop.
I
You
do
have to
sometimes.
stop.
You know
what's
why?
great?
First of all, I don't have a lot of chest hair in general
So then why do you shave your chest?
because there's little scraggly hairs here and there.
She's like,
Pubescent.
well, you
I'm
should
not
know
a
something?
burly man.
You should know something. I've never.
I'm
shaved
not
my
like
chest,
Zach. Look at that
but
beard.
which should not be surprising at this point in this conversation. But I also don't have a lot of chest hair. If I had a lot, I feel like this is TMI. But if I had a lot,
I feel like
if
most.
this was a lot, if I had a lot, I probably it's possible. I have no freaking idea. I honestly don't know what I would do.
you like a burly werewolf.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, she
Okay.
wants a
Everyone-
real
Like you know the picture of BB that's like viral of him like in the military.
as a military, like Yoni and
It's
Yoni.
like that one, like that one photo.
Those are real Israeli tough motherfuckers. There's
Yeah.
no, you fuck with those guys, you're dead. Like
You're
simple
talking
as
about
that.
him or his chest hairs? Those are tough
You just
Israeli
see the guy.
buttons.
Yeah,
He's
you
just-
can see his chest
You can
hair.
see it. Bro, he's wearing. He's that guy that when you think of him, you're like, Obama does not hold a candle to this dude. Like, I don't care who's sitting in this room. You just see a military guy that put his life on the line for his country. And then you see like Obama sitting there, like in
You're
White
into the
House.
burly
It's
dad bod
One of
over.
them cheated on their wives,
no,
though.
no,
No dad bod.
Maybe, maybe not. It's not the
No
point.
dad
One
bod.
guy is
You're into the burly
I-
man over the pretty boy.
Yeah, I like
Got
how we're
it.
talking about how I like the BB with military, and then I'm like, my husband plays video games all day. Clearly,
Oh,
I
maybe
have
your
a
husband.
type.
I don't know who your husband is, but maybe he looks like Burby and is Burby.
He does.
Burby.
Maybe he looks like a Furby.
Get you a man who does both. He's got the chest hair of BB and the video game skills of Ninja.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. So that explains the whole answer. You
And then
like
she went
it.
home to her mom and she's like, I found the one.
Label's perfect woman is the mind and values of Nikki Haley, the body and face
hope
of
not.
Tom Brady.
There you go.
Oh my god. I will try to not think about that moving forward.
Oh, sorry for giving you hooted.
I mean, I'll be honest. If I could get the arm of Tom Brady, I'll take that. If I could get the
what do you want that arm to do?
If I could get. If I get the chord vision,
I used it already.
that he's
Yeah,
out.
that was
This is
good.
why.
You could
this is
say it.
why you don't use your challenges. This is why you do
You can
not.
press it.
This is
It's too late
why
now.
you do not use your challenges ahead of the end of the
Exactly.
game.
If
This
we
is
get
the
you
reason-
president and we make sure that clip goes viral, and that's just the only thing
Um,
that comes up when
That's
you
perfect,
Google
but you have to
Elizabeth
set me
Pipko.
up.
at the end of the day,
It's hard. Allie,
There you go.
No, but honestly, for me, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley.
why do we?
I love. If I could get a woman that has the class of Nikki Haley, we're all game.
This like Jewish boy obsession with Nikki Haley. It's like everyone I know.
Well, there you go.
I'm not obsessed with Nikki
Everyone
Haley.
you know. There you go.
I mean, I know 6 people, but still, it's like
Well,
Yeah, you
not.
have 3 new friends. Then you made 3
3 friends
today.
total.
Well, you
I
didn't-
haven't
okay.
put you guys in the crew yet.
Why not?
Wow, we're not in the T-Mobile Fab
Well-
5.
You're right.
We're
Wow.
ambitious. I'll take the test.
3 new friends.
3 new friends.
Perfect.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. Really, I know you just came off a flight. First of all, I didn't even mention that she just came off a flight
Right.
from Florida, right? Straight to us.
Straight to you.
I feel honored that we're having you. I really, really do. And especially the fact you reached out to us, I feel like that's a compliment to myself.
Yeah,
to-
by
to
the
our
way, the
work.
fact that he said you reached out to us, I'm like, we made it. We made it.
No, but really, and we are. I appreciate you coming over, and I enjoyed this conversation. I enjoyed
Yeah,
every
we hope
second
you
of
enjoyed
this.
as well.
Yeah, I did. Thank
Like
you.
really,
Okay, good.
And I just want to thank you again, and guys, thank you so much for watching. Follow Elizabeth on Instagram. Her
wanna
book,
s-
Finding My Place.
Yes.
Instagram Elizabeth Pipko at Elizabeth Pipko.
And also-
probably
Pipko spelled Pipko.
Yeah.
And also go to her website and her initiative, Lest People Forget.
Or educatekanye.com.
EducateKanye.com. And it's
Is that the
lesspeopleforget.com.
same
Yes.
website?
It
Oh,
all
so you
corrected.
just got a bunch of domain names.
That follow.
Genius.
That
Got it.
Genius.
Yeah, she's
So
a- she's a millennial.
lesspeopleforget.com and educatekanye.com.
Correct.
Or educate yay, depending on what he's using at I got those two. Just in
Wow,
case.
that's so
You
smart. though.
you've literally put a cloud over Kanye, and you're like, you're not getting out of this one, buddy.
I'll tell you a story off the air. When we're done filming, I'll tell you a Kanye story.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Guys, when
amazing.
we're done filming, she's telling us a confidential story.
Kanye.
But guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Elizabeth, thank you so much.
Thank
Peace,
you.
love. On to the next episode.